Well, hello. Hello there. Muchachos. Hola, amigos. Hola, muchachos. Yeah. Hello. Well, good day, folks. Well, good day. Who's here for a hootenanny? Shiny. 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 We're in a new location, everybody. We're in a new location. Oh, shit. Look at this, Shiny, in the kitchen. The noisy chef. Oh, my clothes brush. Hello. Yeah, this is the setup for tomorrow. It's the tomorrow setup. We gonna be cooking. We gonna be cooking tomorrow. God damn. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Today I'm going to be doing a few spotlights. So let's get into it, actually. There's so much to go through. I'll just get straight into it.
That multiple sailors aboard the USS Abraham Lincoln have tried to jump overboard amid poor conditions and mental
How? So they tried to jump overboard?
stress on the ship. This is according to new reporting from the Military Times, which spoke to the wife of one of those sailors, who says she's spoken to her husband only a handful of times since he tried to jump. He is now on a medical hold. The Military Times is also reporting severe food shortages on board and that sailors are running out of just basic needs: toothpaste, deodorant, soap. This crew has been at sea for 9 months amid Trump's war in Iran. That includes 250 consecutive days without setting foot on land. 250 consecutive days. That is a record. Out front now, Natalie Olivero. She is the Military Times journalist who broke the story, and she is also a Navy veteran.
Look at this. Look at this, Ems. Look at this face.
Natalie, I appreciate your time. I mean, the details you have in this story are
A little
really
excessive
stunning. I mean,
pouting.
my jaw drops. You know, we're talking about the USS Abraham Lincoln, and you're talking about things that I think people struggle to understand are happening in the U.S. military. You've spoken directly with some of these families, and you're reporting on incidents involving sailors apparently trying to jump overboard. You spoke to the wife of one of them, I know, and her husband served in the Navy for more than a dozen years, 13 years. So what have you learned?
Thanks for having me, Erin, and for covering this story. Speaking with Miss Saloma, she is extremely worried and concerned about how her husband is actually doing. And until she can be in front of him and see him with her own eyes, she's not really going to be able to answer that question. And facing the stresses that every military spouse faces when theirs is deployed, as being a solo parent at home with 3 little kids. So not being able to have answers or direction is really challenging right now for her, especially.
So, you know, look, these incidents are very disturbing. I mean, what would drive someone to be at a point where they would be willing to do that, obviously, is distressing to consider. But the families of sailors aboard the Lincoln are telling you about incidents like this. They're also telling you about some of these other truly stunning details, that the sailors are often hungry because there isn't enough food. The basic supplies, toothpaste, deodorant, aren't easy to get. Now, back in April, and this has been going on a long time. We talk about this ship 250 days in a row without setting foot on land, a record. So this has been going on a long time. In April, Secretary Hegseth, dismissed reports about inadequate food. He said it was fake news.
Hey, Lisa.
So
hey, Aria. Welcome.
What's the reaction to from the families that you're speaking to? They don't get to talk to their loved ones on board that ship that often. What's their reaction when the defense secretary calls this all fake news?
Confusion.
Hey, Shanna.
Hurt. Lack of understanding.
By the way, you may notice that I'm in a new place. I'm in our kitchen. Which is about, a couple of footsteps from the room I'm in that I'm using as the studio. Because tomorrow we are going to be cooking some Indian street food. Oh, shit. The noisy chef. Salam, Jujus. Welcome.
They're constantly seeking some kind of reassurance or information. There's a lot of conflicting reports, a lot of different information, especially on social media within different groups and small community pages. Those are the pages where organic conversations and relationships exist. Those aren't deep fake.
I just feel like this lady put too much. Like, I'm trying to focus on the story, but all I can see is Botox.
Or AI
and
dupes being created. These are where families go to communicate. This is a lifeline for families who really never receive an instruction manual on how to handle your time when your loved one is deployed. So families are feeling left in the dark, and all families.
What is the news about? Oh, a few sailors jumped overboard from one of the carrier strike groups. We are worried about the child murdering army's mental health because they don't have deodorant. Yeah, basically. Naval sailors started jumping off the USS Abraham Lincoln, the aircraft carrier, because they've been out on the ocean for like 9 months, and they ran out of soap and toilet paper, deodorant, and they've just started jumping off board.
Families are agreeing that it is absolutely unacceptable and unthinkable to imagine.
Well, it's unthinkable, I think, for any American to hear this reporting, frankly, and deeply disturbing.
I don't know. Americans in the chat, is it frankly unthinkable for you? The laundry fires are blazing. Hold on. Oh my gosh. How can we not have where is she? Where's our queen? Where's our queen?
Чего ты там пиздишь, чего?
Your government has imagine that sailors who are serving this country, going 250 days without setting foot on land, 9-month deployment, would have food shortages or it's upsetting. So we reached out to the Navy, Natalie, about your report, and they responded in a statement, and they said, quote, "We have not observed an increase in..."
She said sinking ship.
"In suicidal ideations or attempts aboard the ship. We're not experiencing an uptick in mental health issues aboard Abraham Lincoln." I just wanted to give you a chance to respond to that.
While you died in the swamp, GI?
My first question to that is an increase from what baseline? An increase, no increase from when? What does that measurement window look like? We did request deck logs and multiple FOIAs from the Navy, so hopefully we'll get those back and can review them independently. But until we do, all we have is our firsthand reporting and accounts.
Hey, can I ask how excited we are about cooking some snacks tomorrow? How excited are we?
From these family members who are experiencing this and living it day after day.
We've been hearing Donald Trump say the Strait of Hormuz is open. Everything is open, okay, which we know is not true to the extent he's implying. The USS Abraham Lincoln has been a part of that mission, and we are hearing these reports from on board. A congressman tweeted out a report saying that basically 5,000 sailors are on board. They're on month 9 of what was supposed to be a 7-month deployment, and the conditions are horrendous. Moldy showers, broken toilets, no hot water for weeks, meals that were down to half a cup of rice and 2 tortillas, stores out of deodorant, toothpaste, all this stuff. The Navy is saying, look, we haven't
But they had bombs to bomb the children, though.
seen anything. Literally, their statement is, we have not observed an increase in suicidal ideations, and that they're taking it seriously. But I feel like this is not a random rumor. Like, how could things get to this point?
Look, every day, you may have this that occurs kind of generally in the Navy, but I think it is clear this is a ramp up. Look, when I went to war,
investigation. Do you think there should be an investigation?
Oh, 100%, yeah. When I went to war, like as an Air Force pilot, my deployments were 3 months because we would time out. We could only fly so much. But if you got extended even a week, it was like a blow to morale. Really, I'd be there and it's like, hey, you can't leave this Saturday. It's gonna have to be next Saturday. It's like, ugh. And I wasn't even married. These guys, and men and women, having been extended multiple times, that is a huge blow to morale. And then if the Navy, which they aren't, giving them an end date, saying we're going to be out of here in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and then on the food side, fresh fruit, stuff like that, that has to be taken out by ship out into the middle of this dangerous area. So it's difficult to get it out there. It's difficult to get it out there fresh. If you do get fresh fruit, you have to eat it pretty quickly because you can't keep it on board. And it just creates pretty
And you're
bad
talking
conditions.
fresh fruit. I mean, at this point, I don't know if there's like an MRE or something.
Right.
You're talking a cup of rice, and the doctor's saying people are going to start losing their minds.
Yeah.
I think the other reason we care about this is because the Navy is being asked to sustain a massive mission. And do we have the ability to do that? And
A massive illegal mission.
is this a red flag?
Yeah, this is a huge red flag. I mean, and plus, again, the administration is saying we're going to sustain this closure of the strait, which is totally open, that we control. We're going to sustain that indefinitely until Iran relents. How long is that going to be? We just had an aircraft carrier in the Caribbean, by the way, for whatever reason. So, look, I'm not going to question where the Navy's sending these assets, but if we're going to maintain
Why not, bro? Question it.
a blockade there's going to be some things that give.
Joining me now is Massachusetts Democratic Congressman Seth Moulton, a Marine Corps veteran who served 4 tours in Iraq.
I wonder how many brown people this guy killed.
He also sits on the Armed Services Committee, and he is running for Senate. Congressman, thank you for being with us. And what was your reaction when you heard these accounts of sailors attempting to
Shonen,
go
welcome.
overboard?
I mean, it's horrific, but sadly, I'm not surprised. I mean, we have a president, a commander-in-chief, who's made fun of troops for mental health issues. We have a Secretary of Defense who's more focused on testosterone tests than...
Oh, ball tanning. H. Hola. Hola. Hola.
I want to be a good boy.
Are we talking about ball tanning again?
actually keeping our troops alive. But the piece that I think we don't talk about enough is that our troops can do extraordinary things. And I've had deployments to Iraq that were longer than 9 months. But you got to believe in the mission. And nobody can participate in this Iran war that's been a total failure. It's actually backfired. It's done more to empower Iran, which now controls
It's done more to empower Iran and Xi's nuts.
the world economy, which they've never done before in their history. It's really hard to be excited about that mission. There's no one who believes in it right now. And that's got to be one of the toughest.
Guys, if you need to get a coffee, everybody, go get a coffee, get a hot drink, get a nice, comfortable drink, because we got shitloads to go through. And I can't do Cletus tonight because I'm now in the kitchen. And if I Cletus, it's, it can be heard from the room. So I can't Cletus tonight. If I do, it's got to be quiet Cletus.
Tolls.
Thank you, friends.
You heard the Navy. They tell us that they aren't seeing an uptick of mental health issues on the U.S.
Look, this shouldn't be funny, but because these people are war criminals, just by being part of an army that's doing war crimes, it is funny.
Thank you, friends.
Says Lincoln. And they're saying they have plenty of mental health resources available. Listen, you're on the Armed Services Committee. Is that statement good enough for you?
Absolutely not. And we will be conducting an investigation to get to the bottom of this. 0 suicides is the only acceptable number. And I'm
Stop going to places where you shouldn't be. Stay close to your borders and stop oppressing people. This imperialism needs to stop. Stop the imperialism. Stop the oppression. Stop, America.
Speaking not just as a veteran, but as the co-author of 988, the National Mental Health Hotline, a service that I made sure was available to troops, even troops overseas. It's pretty obvious, though, that these troops are not getting the mental health support that they need, and it's our job in Congress to get to the bottom of that.
Don't give the ball away!
Yeah, I just think... Let's stay on this topic for a little bit because it's yeah. I mean, this must be like in Iran. It must be just hilarious for the Iranian military.
It has been more than 260 days since the USS Lincoln deployed to sea. What started as a routine mission in November was redirected to the Middle East over the war with Iran earlier this year. Now, families of those on board are confronting Navy leaders about food shortages, water contamination, and declining mental health. Declining health, by the way, that has gotten so bad that there are multiple reports of sailors trying to jump overboard.
Stop oppressing people. Just take your sailors home and go home. Go home and stop bombing children. Go home.
He should kiss my ass.
In an exclusive interview with MS Now, the wife of a sailor who did jump off the ship earlier this month says her husband told leadership that he was struggling. But
Prof, this isn't a new angle. This is a new setup for tomorrow because I'll be cooking some Indian street food. We're doing Indian street food tomorrow. Mom's recipe.
That was brushed off. She also says the Navy did not tell her until 4 days after the incident. A Navy spokesperson told MS Now in part, quote, "We have not observed an increase in suicidal ideations aboard the ship."
Look, man, anyone who takes their own life because they're so fucked in these places, they're just like in such a shit place. Obviously, my thoughts go out to these people. The structure that put them there is an imperialist structure that has them there murdering brown children. So, yes, I can feel sorry for them, but I can at the same time say that they're war criminals. They're war criminals who shouldn't be there in the first place.
Joining us, MS Now Pentagon reporter Priya Sridhar, former Naval Lieutenant Commander Julie Rowland, who has served aboard the Lincoln, and Max Rose, who is back with us as well. Priya, explain what this wife told you.
Yeah, Katie, it's just really heartbreaking, and I think it highlights the extreme stress that...
What the wife told, he's been out there 9 months. He's launched so many missiles at civilians in Iran. He's blown up like 5 fishing vessels. He was so traumatized by committing all of those crimes that he just jumped off board. And it's heartbreaking
that these sailors are under on the USS Lincoln. Their deployment has been extended for a second time, and they feel like there's no end in sight. This young woman who I spoke to said that her husband has been expressing to her that he's been struggling with this deployment for several months, basically since the middle of the deployment. He works as an aircraft mechanic on the flight deck, really long hours, and she said that he notified his chain of command multiple times and went to the...
Oh, he works on the flight deck. He's a mechanic. He's fixing The planes that are bombing the children, I see.
Medical team saying that he was having suicidal ideations, but they were basically dismissed. Now, she learned from a member of her husband's squadron that someone had gone overboard last Monday, but she didn't actually get any confirmation from the Navy that it was, in fact, her husband until Friday, despite her attempts to reach out to him repeatedly. She also shared with me the last text message that he sent to her prior to him jumping off the ship. And I want to read part of it to you. He basically said, "I think the boat is finally getting to me, and I really don't think I can keep up my peace act anymore. You are right about it all not being okay. We were supposed to leave Fifth Fleet on July 15th, but then something had to come up, and my last hope of being home soon was gone. I'm really trying not to feel negative or hopeless, but between the Wi-Fi and not knowing when I will come home and not knowing what is happening back at home, it's really getting me. I don't think I can do another deployment after this, and I don't even know if I can finish this deployment." So just really heartbreaking details, Katie, and I think now there's a lot of questions to the Navy about.
This is the difference between oppressing someone else and defending your homeland. Iranians will fight for as long as needed. But when you are a mercenary of a billionaire, so it was the Wi-Fi, not the war crimes. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, it was the Wi-Fi. This is the difference. Iran is fighting for its existence, its self-determination, whereas Americans who are, in the Strait of Hormuz, they are. What are they fighting for? Oil. Nothing. They're fighting for capitalism.
Reopening the Strait of Hormuz.
How they handled the situation. I did reach out to them for comment, and they basically said that they can't comment on individual service members' medical records for privacy reasons, but they are disputing the fact that there's any sort of uptick in suicidal ideations on this specific ship, Katie.
The Journal is reporting, the Wall Street Journal, that the USS Washington is going to replace Lincoln as part of a previously scheduled rotation plan. This isn't exclusive to them. They're citing U.S. officials. Priya, do you have anything on this? Would this be a normal replacement?
Yeah, Katie, so there are different ways for the public to sort of see where our aircraft carriers are around the world. And I did see that the Washington appeared to have been moving from where it's currently at in the Indo-PACOM, so sort of off of Asia, that part of the world earlier today. I did ask my sources. They couldn't confirm that it is this ship that's going to be relieving the Lincoln, but it seems like there's going to be a shifting of potentially several aircraft carriers to make sure that we still have a presence near the South China Sea, but that we can also provide relief to this Lincoln crew.
So, Julie, you didn't do a full deployment on the USS Lincoln, but you have lived aboard that ship. Tell me what it's like.
Well, I say that all aircraft carriers are pretty similar anyway. I did deployment workups on the Lincoln, so preparation for deploying. And then I also have deployed to the Persian Gulf with HSM 71, a helicopter squadron that's currently on board it. But it's 5,000 folks living on a piece of floating metal together. You don't have privacy. You have limited Wi-Fi, if any. You share your meals together, and you don't have to commute to work, but
you have limited Wi-Fi. MGZLV, thank you so much. Guys, I've got a little surprise for you guys next, okay? I've got a little surprise for y'all next. I'm trying to use gender-neutral words, and then I end up using guys anyway. Welcome, though. Welcome, MG. Glad to have you here. You don't have to commute to work. Yeah.
Your life is work all the time. It's very hard. And you normally get a port call about once a month, some 30 to 45 days, but you're far away from your family. You're gone for long periods of time, 6 months, 7 months. And these can be extended, and we've seen long extensions, but typically not without port calls. So it's a big sacrifice to be away this long. It's incredibly grueling work, and it's already a sacrifice to do it. So any folks who say this is what people signed up for, I mean, they probably didn't sign up to do this without port calls, with inadequate food, mental health care services, and a lack of accountability with their families and indefinite extensions. So even if this is what they signed up for, it sounds already, it's terrible to hear without text messages. We're not going to have great retention. We're certainly going to have worse recruitment if this is what we're saying the deal is to join. And most importantly, those folks actively serving who are in theater right now are not going to be able to operate at their best. This is not lethality when we don't even have humanity to take care of our people out there.
Well, let's talk about the
when they don't have the humanity to take care of their people, the humanity? What about the humanity of the people they're bombing? Hey, Michael.
Here. The Pentagon, I mean, they're deployed in a time of war with Iran. I mean, they don't want to call it a war, but that's clearly what's happening. What about the Pentagon's own priorities here? Do they take precedent? Does the need to have a ship there take precedent over the mental health and well-being of those on board? Is there a way to have both?
Well, first, I think if they're not going to call it a war, then they don't get to play by the rules.
You know what this reminds me of? Like school shootings in America, where immediately, of course, MG, please sleep well, rest well, lurk away, and we'll catch you soon. Hope you get some restful sleep. This reminds me of like how they talk about school shooters, mental health, you know? Hey, Gracie, hello. You did find us. They may well have had mental health issues, but they killed so many people, right? I don't understand this. Like this, they're committing murder overseas.
Rules of a war. There are sacrifices people are maybe willing to make if there's an actual war going on, but that level of transparency needs to exist between the Pentagon and the American people. But then I think if you want to put the mission first, you have to prioritize your people as part of that. Really, I think you should lead with people first. If you lead mission first and you decide to forget the people, that's the lesson we learned in Iraq, is that you've got folks coming back that we've squeezed all of the juice out of them. So if you're not going to take care of your people, how many missions after this first mission can you get through? Maybe you get to the end of this mission, and then what's left of our capacity. If recruitment is going to plummet because of this, if retention is going to plummet, if the folks we currently have in aren't going to be up to future tasks, all of that spells readiness, that spells national security. So ultimately, even if you decide this is a worthwhile reason to be having American service members in these conditions, communicate that clearly to the American people, to Congress, but be transparent with the American people, be transparent with these folks and their families, which clearly isn't happening. Otherwise, you're not going to have a force that you need for the next conflict.
And what we're hearing from Pete Hegseth a lot of the time is how much stronger he's making the military. Sure. He's giving them to.
Yeah, I mean, all the ball tanning to increase testosterone, 1.5 trillion worth of ball tanning machines. Very strong.
Testosterone.
Sure. Well, he wants to talk about testosterone. What he doesn't want to talk about is his failure to plan for a protracted conflict and war against Iran. You know, the reason why this is all happening right now is because they announced to the American people that this was going to be a 4 to 6 week conflict. And that's exactly what they planned for. They did not plan for this.
How do they not? I mean, we all learned the mission accomplished lesson.
Sure.
We've been talking about it for decades now. It's a lesson that Donald Trump ran on successfully both times that, or two of the times that he ran for president, not getting into foreign wars, not being as dumb as the other guys.
Right. You know, he ran as the person who was going to be opposed to all forever wars. And this is a broken promise. Just like he ran that he was going to address affordability, another broken promise. And so what ultimately has happened here is that for the entire term, they fired any general who would ever express an independent voice. They fired any general who would ever raise their hand and say, no, sir, actually diversity is lethality. Diversity is strength.
Diversity is lethality? Oh my gosh, America, what is this? Diversity is lethality?
No, sir, it doesn't make sense for us to alienate segments of the population, for us to focus on fringe cultural issues. Let's focus.
Someone clip that, please. Diversity is lethality? Deranged.
On continued unity. They would fire those people constantly. So over the course of time, it built up a culture where no one was willing to express their honest military analysis, and it has produced this protracted, unconstitutional, reckless conflict with no clear off-ramp that is wasting money overseas, that has led to the loss of life, and has now produced this great tragedy aboard the Lincoln.
Yeah, it does not sound good. Max Rose.
Okay, man. Diversity's lethality is wild. Yeah, I'm conflicted. Look, whenever people lose their lives, I always feel for the people. I always feel for their families. But in this case, they chose to go murder people who actually didn't do anything to them. The white supremacist military isn't diverse enough. Weird that. Yeah, exactly. Okay, this is a speech I haven't actually fully watched, and I've just seen clips of this. I haven't actually watched the whole thing, but this popped up in my recommendations. Statement by Mr. Che Guevara, Cuba, before the United Nations General Assembly on 11th December 1964. Hey, Manda, welcome. Let's go.
Industries of Cuba. I invite him to address the Assembly.
Señor presidente, señores delegados.
Llegar también de las clases dominantes de países latinoamericanos contra nuestra revolución. En otros, más tristes aún, es producto de los deslumbrantes resplandores de Mamón. Como es de todos conocido, después de la tremenda conmoción llamada crisis del Caribe, los Estados Unidos contrajeron con la Unión Soviética determinados compromisos que culminaron en la retirada de cierto tipo de armas que las continuas agresiones de aquel país, como el ataque mercenario de Playa Girón y las amenazas de invadir nuestra patria, nos obligaron a emplazar en Cuba en acto de legítima e irrenunciable defensa. Pretendieron los norteamericanos, además, que las Naciones Unidas inspeccionaran nuestro territorio, a lo que nos negamos enfáticamente, ya que Cuba no reconoce el derecho de los Estados Unidos ni de nadie en el mundo a determinar qué tipo de armas pueda tener dentro de sus fronteras. En este sentido, solo acataríamos acuerdos multilaterales con iguales obligaciones para todas las partes. Como ha dicho Fidel Castro, mientras el concepto de soberanía exista como prerrogativa de las naciones y de los pueblos independientes y como derecho de todos los pueblos, nosotros no aceptaremos la exclusión de nuestro pueblo de ese derecho. Mientras el mundo se rija por esos principios, mientras el mundo se rija por esos conceptos que tengan validez universal porque son universalmente aceptados y consagrados por los pueblos, nosotros no aceptaremos que se nos prive de ninguno de esos derechos. Nosotros no renunciaremos a ninguno de esos derechos. El señor secretario general de las Naciones Unidas, UTAN, entendió nuestras razones. Sin embargo, los Estados Unidos pretendieron establecer una nueva prerrogativa arbitraria e ilegal, la de violar el espacio aéreo de cualquier país pequeño. Así han estado surcando el aire de nuestra patria aviones U-2 y otros tipos de aparatos espías que con toda impunidad navegan en nuestro espacio aéreo. Hemos hecho todas las advertencias necesarias para que cesen las violaciones aéreas, así como las provocaciones que los marinos yanquis hacen contra nuestras postas de vigilancia en la zona de Guantánamo, los vuelos rasantes de aviones sobre buques nuestros o de otras nacionalidades en aguas internacionales, los ataques piratas a barcos de distintas banderas y las infiltraciones de espías.
Patria o muerte. Country or death. Oh my gosh. How am I slick willies? Welcome, sound bombs. This speech is still so relevant today. 100%. Very, very relevant. Very relevant. Very relevant. Oh, I'd never fully heard that speech, you know. Just little bits and pieces where he talks about neocolonialism, etc. Hey, Red Bob Scoff. Go the Milky Way, welcome. The next situation I want to spotlight everybody is what's happening to a Palestinian community in the West Bank. Hey, Sunflower Soul, welcome. Morena. By the way, I'll use some Maori words. Feel free to use them. I will type them out in chat. I'll say phrases like kia ora, which is a greeting. Hello, greeting. I'll say things like morena, which is good morning. I'll say po marie, which is good night. And you'll also hear me saying kakite, which is goodbye. And I'll use other words which when I use them, I'll let you know what they are. But yeah, I Sunflower Soul said morning, so I said morena as well. All right, so this is TRT World. Illegal settlers surround 3 Palestinian families in Gaza. I don't know if you've heard about what's happening here, but this is an insane situation, and it keeps getting worse in the West Bank.
4 days, illegal Israeli settlers besieged 3 Palestinian families inside these homes. Abdel Karim Hassan watched helplessly as the homes of his 2 sons were surrounded, leaving his grandchildren without food or water. From a distance, he watched Israeli forces enter the area to remove the illegal settlers, believing he would finally see his family again.
They said there would be military action against the settlers, so I waited here. Soldiers entered and told my children to leave until Sunday. They refused. It was all lies. They cornered them inside, so I told them, stay even if you die there.
16 Palestinian houses were turned into military outposts, forcing 7 families from their homes. For hours, Israeli military jeeps chased a few illegal settlers through the area, but did not force them to leave.
We have a new subscriber. Welcome to the Noisy Crew. Gracie, thank you for the sub on Twitch. welcome to Twitch.
The army deployed across the town, closed shops, and stopped taxis. We thought the settlers would finally be removed. Instead, we were shocked to see the army turn more Palestinian homes into military outposts.
This was the 9th military assault aimed at removing the illegal settlers. Each time they returned. One of the 3 besieged homes belongs to a Palestinian American. U.S. Ambassador to Israel Mike Huckabee, a staunch supporter of Israel and illegal settlements, welcomed the military intervention, saying, "The IDF and the Israel police have gone at our request to remove the Israeli terrorists doing this. The actions of those doing this to this family's home is criminal." But Israeli forces withdrew without freeing the besieged families. The Palestinian homes used as military outposts were also vandalized.
They said they were here to remove the settlers. Instead, they destroyed our homes and caused us huge losses. They threw out our food, they destroyed our beds and took our money. They left nothing untouched.
By the time Israeli forces withdrew, little had changed. The 3 families remained trapped on the hilltop, while illegal Israeli settlers continued to control access to their homes.
The Israeli army declared this area a closed military zone. Analysts say the move could send one of 2 messages. Either the army is no longer able or willing to protect more illegal settlers here, or the closure is part of a coordinated effort between it and the settlers to annex this space. Mohammed Alwan, TRT World, Nablus, the occupied West Bank.
I think it's more annexation, honestly. I think it's more annexation.
These homes on a windy hillside on the edge of the West Bank village of Kusra are under siege. They have been for a number of days as Israeli settlers launch wave after wave of attacks against the Palestinians living inside those homes. They've already taken over a number of those properties. They're trying to take over more of them, and they have been attacking those Palestinians relentlessly. But there are 2 families who are currently trapped inside, trapped and also refusing to leave, refusing to give over their properties to the settlers, even though they've had things like their power.
I think the word settler is misleading, They should really be called terrorists outright.
And water cut. We spoke to one of the men.
الوضع عندي يعني الوضع اللي احنا فيه مأساوي يعني احنا لنا 3 أيام محاصرين بدون ما في عندنا مقومات الحياة رعب المستوطنين في الليل على الساعة 2 3 بيهجموا على كانوا يدخلوا على تحت البيت يرجموا علينا بحجار وأجل في الساعة 10 الصبح بحكي لي إنه البيت لازم تخليه.
There's been criticism of the Israel Defense Forces in how it has handled this situation. There have been soldiers deployed to this area saying that they are going to be trying to pull these settlers into line, evict them from this area. They've done so, and very shortly after, those settlers have returned. We've also been told that one of the solutions that the IDF has proposed here is actually to evict some of those Palestinian families. That large house just behind us is now being occupied by the military as they try to get a hold on this situation. There is ongoing criticism of the IDF and the way that it operates in the West Bank when it comes to dealing with settlers. Fears and criticism that have long been raised by Palestinians that the IDF is complicit in allowing settlers to act in this way, partly because they don't want to intervene, partly because they don't have the political backing.
Noisy, your schedule is more erratic than mine. It's just the start times, classical guest, but I'm on pretty consistently twice a day. Hey, Pjur, sorry, I'm saying Pjur, Pjur. I'm so sorry I was saying your name wrong. Welcome back. My schedule is actually, I stream in the morning. Oh, your name is Patricia? Nice. Okay. That's easier. That is much easier. Welcome, Patricia. I stream in the morning. I stream for about 3 or 4 hours. And then I pick up my son from school. And then we come back. We spend some time together. We chill. And then I stream in the evenings. It's just the start times can vary by like half an hour. Other than that, I'm pretty consistent. The weekends are different, obviously, but weekdays, those are the times I choose.
To intervene,
Hey,
and also
Scars.
the fact that more and more settlers are now numbering within the IDF's own ranks there. The US ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, he was scathing of what has been happening here with regards to these settlers. He's described it as Israeli terrorists and saying that they need to be pulled out of this area. Many of the Palestinians who live in this part of the West Bank are also American citizens, but Mike Huckabee has rejected suggestions that Israel was forced to act in this way by the United States, but still saying that they are in close cooperation as this situation develops.
They didn't do anything to the settlers. Just in the media they talk, we send 200 soldiers to Kusra and bulldozer, and they will arrest the settlers and they send him to the prison, to the court, just in the media. In the fact, no, nothing.
How this will play out in the coming days remains to be seen. But again, this is a very fraught situation and just one example of this phenomenon, this scourge which is gripping the West Bank of settlers acting in this way towards Palestinians.
Terrorists. Just call them terrorists.
And trying to force them from their homes and their land.
What's that? Oh, wow. Can I show the stream? Can I show the stream, please? Oh my goodness. Look at this, folks. This is a strawberry in Aotearoa, New Zealand. It's as big as my fist. But not as big as my fist, but you know. Huge. That's a big strawberry. The only surprise with that story is that it's being covered at all. Yeah, I agree. I agree. My grandmother told me about her time in a concentration camp. She was there because her brother was on the run for not getting recruited. These atrocities and the behavior of the IDF remind me of the kind she was reporting her experience. Oh, totally, man. Like, that's incredible that your grandma survived that. It's pretty crazy. Is that grown in a container like square watermelons? No. No, it's just in the ground. We go strawberry picking like once a year. And yeah, they get all sorts of shapes, all sorts of funny shapes. Okay, so let's this is more in depth. Let's see how BBC covers it, because I feel like the coverage of this has been more honest than anything I've seen about Palestine in general. So it's positive in that they're covering it, but I just feel like, yeah, I just feel like this is all too late, you know?
Welcome to the Global News Podcast from the BBC. I'm Charlotte Gallagher, and today we're speaking...
Most of our strawberries are painted red? What?
Speaking to our correspondent,
really,
John
Gracie?
Donnison, who's in the village of Kusra in the occupied West Bank. Families there have been under siege for days now by Israeli settlers. Tell us about the siege and how it started.
So this siege started on Sunday. You can see on the hillside behind me, the buildings up there. There are Palestinian houses there. And on Sunday, settlers came, Israeli settlers, and they surrounded that house and they set up what's known as an outpost, so a sort of tent encampment outside the house. They cut off the water, they cut off the electricity, they weren't allowing food to get in, they weren't allowing, or they were trying to block ambulances getting to the house. And the family...
Man, you ever get those super ripe, almost going off ones? They get super sweet. Used to go mad whenever I was down near Marlborough. We just outside Auckland. There's a spot called Kumu. I don't know if you know, but yeah, you get real sweet ones there.
Families in there were in effect under siege. Now, today, the Israeli army went in overnight and in the early hours of the morning, and they demolished this outpost and they moved the settlers on, but the families are still stuck inside those houses, and the settlers have just moved a little way down the hillside.
How are people feeling inside this community? Presumably they're worried that they're going to be forced out of their homes.
Well, that is the aim of these settlers. This is a new tactic that they're using, in effect, to try and starve people out. So we have seen a lot of violence from Israeli settlers over the last few years. The United Nations says it's at its highest levels since records began. But that has involved physical attacks on Palestinians, destruction of property. But this sort of laying siege is a new thing.
Raid detective. Thank you, Raiders. Welcome. Hope you stick around and hit that follow button. Caro! Welcome. Welcome, Caro. Thank you so much for the raid. Thank you so much for the raid. Welcome. Hey, Isa. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. No, that's okay. That's absolutely fine. You do what you have to do. Thank you for the raid. I hope you had a great stream. Thank you so much. Maple takes book club tonight. You follow a detective. Welcome in, everybody. Oh, Ash, thank you so much for the follow. Come on in. I hope you all had a good stream. Oh, you started a new book? That's awesome. Hey, by the way, folks, Caro, before you leave, I just want to let you know about tomorrow. So New Zealand time, 12 noon New Zealand time. I don't know if that is too early or too late for you where you are. I will be cooking Indian street food on stream. So if you wanna watch me cook some Indian street food, Mum's recipe. Mum's gonna be here. Mum's gonna be here at our house, kind of just watching and giving me instructions. Giving me instructions, but yeah, we'll mummy immigrant, yeah. So folks, if you're around tomorrow, drop by. You follow a detective. Claudette Huz. Thank you so much for the follow. Yes. Dropping by for sure. Nice. Yeah, we're going to be doing some street food. The VOD is going to be saucy. Yeah. Caro, thank you so much, Caro. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. We're just spotlighting a few stories. We're going to be spotlighting a few stories. And today we started with the aircraft carrier, the American aircraft carrier, and soldiers jumping off the side of those aircraft carriers. And now we've started with the siege on the Palestinian city. That is 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern. Right. That's good, right? That's a good time. Fark, I will have to ditch my mum to make this. Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah, perfect. This is why I'm like set up in the kitchen now. I'm set up in the kitchen now, so boomfa. We're doing it.
Thank you, friends.
I want to be a good boy.
Thank you, everybody. That explains the change in camera. Yeah, I just set everything up. Take care. Take care, Caro. Take care. Yeah, it should be pretty cool. I'm a little late. Other soldiers okay that jumped off, or have they been lost to sea? Um, how do I VIP? I haven't VIP'd in a while. Okay. Well, I'll VIP. Hold on. Is this /VIP? Oh, it is. Look at that. Nice. Leave them alone. They were just trying to swim home.
And the aim is to take over the land, which the settlers believe is theirs. Legally, under international and Israeli law, it isn't there. So obviously the villagers
Jumped off
are
like
very
GTA
worried.
6.
Just down in the village itself, the army went in this morning in considerable number, and they went in and took over, we think, 11 Palestinian homes, ordered everyone out.
Hey, also, mods, feel free to VIP. Whoever you think, I'm like absolutely fine. If you guys think you want to VIP someone, go for it.
And said that they were going to now be used for military purposes. We spoke to one gentleman there who said he'd been waiting 3 hours to be let back in, and so far to no avail. We could see soldiers
The Pope
posing on
gets
the rooftop
VIP.
of some of those houses. So
Gift
yes,
sub
the situation is
detected.
pretty tense.
Sharing is caring. You shared. You cared.
Oh, look at that. You ask and you shall receive. You ask and you shall receive. Nice. 8-bit supercomputer. Amazing. Amazing.
Tense.
You talk about the escalation of violence in the West Bank towards Palestinians. Is there any policing of this at all by either the IDF or any kind of authority there?
Yes, I mean, the Israeli military and the Israeli government, their line is that this is really a handful of extremists who are carrying out, in their own words, deplorable acts. But the accusation is that the Israeli military and the government don't do anything about it. So, you know, we are talking about really maybe a dozen, 15 settlers here outside these houses. Now, Israel has one of the most powerful militaries in the world. They could have shifted them pretty quickly. They haven't done so. And in fact, at the weekend, we actually saw some of the soldiers who were sent here to supposedly deal with this problem actually praying with the very settlers who are laying siege to the house. So the accusation from human rights groups and the UN is that the government and the military allow these groups to act with impunity. And indeed, there are far-right ministers within the Israeli government who very much believe in the settlement project, and they are actively encouraging, in the minds of their critics, these sorts of crimes.
And will the...
Is there like a maximum VIP, or can I VIP anybody? How does it work? What does it mean to be VIP? I don't know, guys. I have no clue, folks.
election that's coming up in October and what the Prime Minister says about this and does about this, could that potentially affect the election?
Oh, you
the
get a cool
settlement
icon.
issue is divisive amongst Israelis. There are lots of Israelis who think that it's damaging for Israel's international reputation, and stories like this make the news, and it draws a lot of criticism. However, what I would say is that the government of Israel at the moment, and indeed Mike Huckabee, who we've heard from today, the US ambassador to Israel, who has been very critical of these events in Qusra, calling it Jewish terrorism. Both the Israeli government and the US ambassador are broadly supportive of the settlement project. They have accelerated settlement building in the occupied West Bank and East Jerusalem. Settlement building which is illegal under international law. And the settlers, and indeed Mike Huckabee himself, they believe that God gave this land to the Jewish people.
Okay, bro. This fucking hype train just starts like randomly. What? Why did the hype train start this time? What happened? What started the hype train? At first, I thought this was satire. Read Trump's comments. Trump orders Pentagon to redesign U.S. aircraft carrier to use steam catapults to launch jets. What? Anna! Oh, Anna, hello! Anna. Oh, we got a mod Anna. Mod Anna. These are our TikTok mods and stuff are coming over. Where's Juju's?
Gift sub detected. Sharing is caring. You shared. You cared.
Beautiful, clean steam. We've got TikTok refugees in the house, everybody. Oh, thank you so much for the gifted sub. Marie, thank you so much for the 100 bits. Thank you for the gifted sub.
We have a new subscriber.
Oh my
Welcome
gosh.
to the Noisy Crew.
Oh, thank you so much, Marie. Thank you for the gifted. Love ya. Yeah? Red team won. I love you. I love ya. I can't hear you. Hype train level 2. Nice. Marie, thank you for the gifted sub. Deadly Cheesecake, thank you for the gifted sub. This is incredible. Thank you so much. I also like you, Noisy. Is this real? After nearly a decade of loudly complaining about the fact that modern U.S. aircraft carriers use electromagnetic systems to launch fighter jets instead of steam-powered catapults, Donald Trump has directed the Pentagon to redesign.
Gift sub detected. Sharing is caring. You shared. You cared.
Shiny! Thank you for the gifted sub. Yes, of course. Oh my goodness. Level 2 hype train. Incredible. Donald Trump has directed the Pentagon to redesign a new aircraft carrier to replace the modern system with the old-fashioned catapults he prefers.
Sub. You just took money from Bezos. Welcome to the Noisy Crew.
Woohoo! Actually, it's CC. CC, thank you so much.
We have a new subscriber. Welcome to the Noisy
Jimny, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, this is so cool. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. CC, I feel like I haven't seen you in a couple of days. Where have you been? Welcome, everybody. I know you have more duties, so... Oh, you've been lurking? Nice. Oh, we hit our goal as well. What is happening? This is pretty cool. Okay. Manage. Okay. Let me just do this. Sorry guys. Just do this. There you go. Nice. Thank you so much, everybody. You've been lurking. Lurk away. Trump signed a national security memorandum on Thursday directing the Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth and the acting Navy Secretary Hung Kao to make the change he has had his heart set on since at least 2017 when he first described his idea to Time magazine. What is this? This is satire, right? Steam-powered catapult? The memorandum gives the Pentagon leaders 60 days to come up with a plan on the required measures to replace the electromagnetic aircraft's launch system and advanced weapon elevators with steam and hydraulic systems for the construction of the USS Doris Miller, a Ford-class aircraft carrier, which is already 2 years behind schedule. That's what I thought, but it's being reported widely. Is this nonsense?
Gift sub detected. Sharing is caring. You shared. You cared.
Oh my goodness. Cece, thank you so much for the gifted sub. Anna! Woo! It gives extra perks. If true, it sounds like. If true, it sounds like 1, he's looking for a reason to spend money. 2, he's looking for ways to suck up to his petroleum buddies. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's real. It's Trump nonsense. Absurdo fascism at its finest. Oh, I love it. Oh my goodness. We've got a few people from TikTok over here who by the way, if you don't know, I got a permanent ban from TikTok. I got a permanent ban on TikTok. So, yeah, we've got a few TikTok refugees. The memorandum gives the Pentagon leaders 60 days. Yeah, I know, Gracie. How long is permanent on TT? Permanent, like forever. My account's gone. I can't get my account back unless they feel nice. Thank you for the 67 bits. Why? It's also stupid why they banned me. I appealed it. I played a TikTok video. Of a black comedian, and I only played the sound on TikTok as well. A TikTok video of a black comedian using the N-word. And it was a TikTok video that was posted on... it was a video posted on TikTok. And it gave me a ban for hate speech. Hey, Marie. Oh, thank you, Marie, for the 100 bits. Do you have a TikTok agency? No. Yeah, it happened while I was live. I think it was a couple of days ago. You can go see it. It happened while I was live. I appealed it. It failed. I appealed it and it failed. It sucks. The community is trying to like raise some sort of like Scary found a way to raise complaints about this. So a few people in the community have raised complaints. So let's see if they restore it. But I don't have confidence, but we're trying. You know, the catapult is quite important. Trump told Time magazine in 2017 before recounting a conversation he said he had with an unnamed Navy officer. TikTok agencies can take care of that for you. They have a direct connection to TikTok. I see. Probably was reviewed by AI. Thank you, Gracie. So I said, what is this? Sir, this is our digital catapult system, Trump went on. It sounded bad to me. Digital? They have digital? What is digital? And it's very complicated. You have to be Albert Einstein to figure it out. And I said, and now they want to buy more aircraft carriers? I said, what system are you going to be? Sir, we're staying with digital. I said, no, you're not. You're going to goddamned Steam. The digital costs hundreds of millions of dollars, more money, and it's no good. Was TT financially relevant for you? Yeah, it was definitely relevant. But it's okay. Shit happens, man. Move on. We'll move on. The way I'm the way I'm seeing it, this has to be satire. I don't think so. I think this is real. The way I see it is from the beginning, I've never centered it around money because I am lucky in that I had a pretty solid career and I was able to save, and I want to build a community. But at some stage, I need to make money, to support stuff. Everyone does. I've basically used up all my savings. But for me, the way I see it is, I'm going to stick to as much as possible the main reason why I'm doing this, which is to contribute towards an equitable world for all. And I think if I do that well, everything else will come. and I just want to trust in that. I just want to trust in that and then just do it. Rumble, nah. There's too many chuds on Rumble, man. Rumble is like for chuds. Chud platform. I don't want fucking Nick Fuentes people in my in my live. Okay. A Guardian review of Trump's public remarks shows that he has retold that story with variations every year since 2007. I can't trust this, guys. I'm so sorry, but this is just ridiculous.
So, they might criticize extreme events like this, but the broader issue of settlements, that is very much supported by the Israeli government and the US administration. It just so happens to...
Hey, Trashnomancer, steam is more reliable, but the modern electric one can launch heavier planes in shorter distances. Can't wait till the new carriers can't launch modern planes. Sometimes I think Trump is actively trying to destroy America by leaving everything disrupted and half-finished, like the pool and ballroom and ammunition stores and soft power and, yeah, exactly. And the relationship with Europe, everything is fucked. He fucked everything.
Today that in Jenin, which is a big Palestinian city to the north of here, a whole new settlement is opening. People are moving in. And that is with the backing of the Israeli government. The finance minister, Bezalel Smotrich, I think, is there today opening those homes. So, that's an important thing to remember.
By the way, guys, I just want to say I've been very lucky from a career perspective. I became, I'm a software engineer. I'm 40 now. I became an exec when I was 31 years old. And I worked my ass off all of my life. And I completely burnt out. Basically just shit the bed when I was 35. I went for a run, almost had a heart attack. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? And I realized I was just totally burnt out. So for the last few years, I've kind of been, I've been able to take time off. I've used whatever resources I've had to give myself as much time as possible to figure it out. Because for me, I just didn't want to, although I worked very hard for my career, I didn't feel like that career was me. Especially after I burnt out, I was like, what the fuck am I doing to myself? I missed basically the whole first year of my son's life because of work. And I had my moment, I guess, whatever people want to call it. I had my moment of realization where I was like, if I'm going to do something now, it's got to be something that is bigger than myself and all of those sorts of things. It's got to have meaning, etc. And I was trying to figure it out. Palestine happened and my whole life just stopped. Everything stopped. Palestine happened and everything stopped because I have a really close Palestinian friend here and we were just sharing videos with each other. And I started sharing videos on social media. Not my videos. I was just reposting videos because every day was I was just seeing carnage. And then I wanted to talk about it. So I just started talking about Palestine. I started connecting with people on the ground in Gaza. I met hundreds of people on the ground in Gaza. A lot of people who are here. A lot of people who've been with me and this community from the beginning know that we've had so many conversations with Palestinians in Gaza and raised money and done all of that sort of stuff. Built relationships. That's the biggest reason I miss TikTok is that all of those people that I knew, those relationships are on TikTok. So that's the hard part to swallow. The money side of things, I'm not going to go back to my career. I've decided I'm not going to unnecessarily go back to something that I hated, really. but I tolerated. I was good at it. I tolerated it, but I want to do something bigger than myself, you know. I don't want to fuck around with jobs working for privileged pricks who don't give a fuck about my well-being. What's the point?
This is one incident, but settlement expansion has been...
Long story short, yep, there was income on TikTok. Wasn't much, but I've been lucky enough to have a career where I can save. I'm using all of that money during this time to figure it out, and I think I've found my place.
Been accelerating in recent years.
What could potentially persuade the Israeli government to crack down on settler violence? Would it only be the US essentially doing more and saying more about it? Is there anything else that could stop it?
Well, certainly, you know, criticism of the actions of Israeli settlers, especially the more extreme settlers, has been going on for years from the international community, the UN, the EU, even the United States. But it's really only the United States who can put pressure on Israel to stop this. And the truth is, although there have been these rare moments of criticism, broadly, the US administration is supportive of the settlement project.
And lastly, for the people in Kusra now, what do they think
the
is
less
going to
extreme
happen?
settlers, yeah.
Well, look, they're worried. You know, I spoke to the mayor here who he himself, his own brother and nephew were shot dead and killed by settlers 2 years ago. He said things have never been as bad as they are now. He said they were used to violence. They've had the mosques
sound bombs,
torched in Kusra over the years. But he said it was as bad as it's ever been. And I think they don't believe that the Israeli army is there to help them and protect them. They believe that the Israeli army is on the side of the settlers.
John, thank you. That was John Donison in the...
Yeah, for me, it's about educating myself and learning with the community, which is an incredible opportunity and a privilege for me. So, like, this is more than I could have wished for, honestly. This is incredible that I get to do this, right? Not many people in the world get to do this, so I'm just happy. So the level 1 settlers, yeah. Thank you, Cece. I appreciate that. Thank you. John Donison engaging in rampant anti-Semitism there. Hopefully we won't see him again. I did want to put a spotlight on this one. Before we move on to Sudan, I wanted to put a spotlight specifically on this one because I think we moved on from the Belfast riots way too quickly. I think the world moved on from this far too quickly and did not analyze what the hell actually happened. This is the one thing that upsets me, is we tend to just move on from story to story too quickly without learning, without taking the learnings from what's just happened so that we don't make the same mistakes again. This was one of those, right? The Belfast riots, such an important thing to analyze. I watched this earlier today and I thought this breakdown was really good. Something to just, go over this again. It was such a crazy thing. It was a pogrom. It was a pogrom.
Not for the first time in its long and troubled history, Belfast burned. In a city still divided by old peace walls,
I was visiting my fam in Ohio, and I still feel like I have lung inflammation from the Canada wildfires that reached over there. It's been 3 weeks. Jeez. Yeah, that smoke will be horrific.
New enemy lines have been drawn.
I think our country should fight back whatever way they see fit. We're not being listened to.
We are the same blood in our body.
the same blood, the same color.
The resentment and rage seen across the UK in recent years, fuelled here by Northern Ireland's complex legacy.
The one thing that marks this out as different from the rest of Britain and Ireland is that you have on the walls a celebration of past violence, of status that was achieved by using violence. And young people look at that and say, it's my turn now.
The rioting in June was triggered by this video of a knife attack by a black man on a white man, which quickly went viral. But if this was the spark, parts of Belfast were easily ignited, primed and ready to go.
So we knew that there was going to be violence coming, and that this was orchestrated by wider forces, I would say, paramilitary groups who operate here year after year with complete impunity. We've seen some leaflets that were made calling on people to come and disrupt, to stop the traffic in certain areas, calling on people to wear masks, and for residents to turn off their Ring doorbells and their dash cams.
Though the rioting was fierce, it was contained, predominantly to working class loyalist areas where migrants were known to be living. With the Protestant population declining, there are more empty properties there, and private rentals are often cheaper. A gang of 5 men tried to smash their way into this house where Kasim, not his real name, had been watching football with friends.
All I think about my family, what will happen to them? They will burn in the house. I mean, you know. Sorry.
Kasim fled Yemen to settle in Belfast with his wife and children. The youngest is just 4 months old. He works as a delivery driver while studying part-time for a postgraduate degree. The attack, he says, was not random. They targeted migrants, they targeted black and brown people.
Yeah. I mean, not even in the streets. Coming to the house, like they are organized or something. Didn't come here because, we want to live here or something, or we want to take their jobs or their benefit, as they said. We just come here like forcefully because of our country is in danger and in a war.
But this country at the moment is not peaceful for you either, is it? Doesn't feel it.
Actually, I had to say that, but actually, yes. Yeah, I didn't want to say that, but yeah, kind of, you know.
The rioters were marshalled quickly. Calls to take to the streets on social media, amplified by Elon Musk and Tommy Robinson. 1 in 5 of those arrested was a child, the youngest just 12 years old. The Children's Commissioner of Northern Ireland said he's in no doubt they were being exploited by agitators, including paramilitaries.
I witnessed with my own eyes children, young people, teenagers being transported in and out of my...
I'm telling you guys, it's a supply chain. It's a supply chain of moving these kids from, catching them in environments like YouTube videos, of reaction videos or gaming videos, gamers doing reactions or gamers playing, gamers playing Roblox or something, right? So it's like a chain. It starts there, and the kids will hear something about another creator, or maybe these people will platform another creator, and then the kids are then moved to the next step of the supply chain. It's like a hate chain that leads to people like Fuentes, that leads to people like that leads to people like Andrew Tate, and eventually, once they're mixed up in that sphere, that's when the Elons of the world and the Tommy Robinsons of the world will cultivate that hate to then go, to then get them to act, move onto the streets and do some real violence. It's a full like ecosystem that starts at a young age. If you guys have kids, and if you do not monitor what they watch and the games they play, how they like as parents, if we become too disconnected from our children, they're taken on a journey with people we don't even fucking know online in the digital world. Like they get captured and they are just taken on this ride. It's scary. Like if I don't keep an eye on my son and what he watches, he'll end up in like some weird place on YouTube, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? How did you find this? He's 5 years old, and he's watching this stuff. It all sounds like they're playing games, right? But it's the language. They don't need any of that in NI. It's part of who they are. I just feel it's becoming an end-to-end playbook for right-wing culture. And all of these kids, man, they're so vulnerable. Yeah, it's very tailored now. It's very tailored. And all of these kids, I'm not surprised that these kids got onto the streets because they're probably been through that machine. But I need to work overtime engineering war crime machines. How does my 5-year-old daughter know about the Haaland soccer dance? It's crazy, eh? Only fact. It's crazy. No, honestly though, like my son today, I sent a gift to Gather on Discord. I was saying hi to Gather, and my son goes, "Oh, why are you sending the Squid Games gift to Auntie Gather?" And I was, how the fuck do you know that that's Squid Games? Obviously, I don't ask him like that. Just like, how do you know that's Squid Games? And he goes, "Oh no, I've just been watching. I've just been watching stuff, with games." They know everything. They just like they're like sponges. It's all in the details. Portray the black or brown man as the criminal and the white man as the victim. Yeah. True, my daughter 10 is always watching AI YouTube shorts, and I try to monitor and limit because they are weird. Yeah, totally. The amount of just subliminal messaging happening is crazy. So many people treat kids like they're stupid. They ain't. No, yeah, exactly, Chrome Viper. They're not. My son is 2.5. I'm taking notes. Oh, Isa, it's I think there are certain personalities on on YouTube and places like that you've got to be super aware of. You just have to be very aware. The biggest scam on YouTube is lifting popular cartoons and redubbing them with crude jokes and just bad things like Peppa the pig. Yeah. Hey. Oh, that's beautiful. Come here. Give me a cuddle. Yeah. I love you. I love you. You got a big day tomorrow. Why? Because you're doing the cooking.
The cooking's with that. What should I do?
You can help.
Okay.
You can be my sous chef.
Are we going to?
He's got swimming.
Oh, he's got swimming? Yeah, it's after swimming. So it's okay.
Dada?
Yes, my love.
I'm going to ask if Betty's staying with swim. Can I swim?
It's not made up.
That was the one thing about work as well. It makes me so angry. My career has mostly been in advertising, marketing, focusing on the web side of things, and now moving into web applications. It makes me so angry how passive these tech companies are about their user base, both creators and the consumers. They could be doing so much more if they weren't so worried about the profitability of anything and started focusing on the welfare of their users. Yeah. Did you see Meta lost its case? I love ya. Good night. See you tomorrow. I'll come give you cuddles later when you're asleep. I love you.
Come early and come for like 2 minutes when you're allowed to, okay?
I'll come give you kisses. I love ya. Bye. Good night. I'm glad Miss Rachel.
He said
Kakite, my love. Oh, what a good boy. I'm glad Miss Rachel is suing the lady that would basically stole her whole look, mannerisms, content style, and then started talking Zionist pro. Holy shit. Yeah, we got to be careful, guys. Like this is the time when these online spaces, my boss's son who's like 11 knows a lot of the streamers language / memes. My nephew a year or so ago got called the N-word at school. Got called the N-word at school in Aotearoa, New Zealand. Okay? How insane. It's all like seeping into society and it's all happening so quickly. The other thing is, I have noticed that all of these different creators are getting into things like Pokemon cards. I see Logan Paul doing Pokemon cards now. I was listening to a New Zealand radio channel. It's called George FM. It's called George FM. I was listening to this radio channel. It's adults listen to this, right? Adults listen to this. And it's like house music and stuff. And the guy on there, the MC, the DJ, he started talking about Logan Paul and Pokemon cards. Right? They were talking about Pokemon cards. Logan Paul, to me, is a horrible fucking human being. You know, he is one of those right-wing manosphere people, and he started doing Pokemon cards and getting far more attention. He's rug pulled people, crypto rug pulled. And I think that's how they do it, guys. They come into children's spaces. They make themselves visible in children's spaces by doing activities that kids like card trading and things like that. And then they become known, and the kids look for them in other spaces. They impress on the kids at a young age, and then they take them on this journey. I actually think there's a full arc. It's mapped out. These people know exactly what they're doing. They're capturing the audience at these kids at a young age, impressing on them, and then taking them on this journey to, chud. Yeah, it's grooming. It's online grooming, really. So you got to be so careful. Like, I really do spend as much time as possible looking at who he's watching, who he's following, because they know how to like and subscribe and all of these things. I was about to say literally a captured audience. Yeah, the president was on Aiden Ross's stream. This is how they work. They know the pipeline. I mean, think about it. How did the youth of Nazi Germany, for example, jump on the bandwagon? Well, they didn't have a choice, Jujus. That's a little different. The kids didn't have a choice. They were indoctrinated from the beginning. It's not so different from getting kids into a cult, to be honest. I think it's a little different. It's different because it's decentralized. It's different because it's decentralized. Like the example Juju's gave about Nazi Germany, right? It was organized. It was organized and like a cult. It's organized and the kids get in there. But what they've figured out is they don't actually need to have proximity to kids. They don't need to have proximity from a physical sense. They can create it through digital platforms. It's so insane. The internet is like the most... Didn't Fuentes have dinner at Mar-a-Lago with Kanye West also? Or am I making that up? Nah, you're right. Fuentes had dinner with Donald Trump at Mar-a-Lago, and Kanye West was there as well.
A community that these people don't live in. So that's coercion, that's trafficking. You know, this is trafficking people. I've certainly been alerted to instances where children have, or young people have been instructed to be there.
You know who's really fucked up in Ireland? It's Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor has gone down that right-wing pipeline. Conor McGregor is very influential in Ireland in the right-wing circles.
To service a debt.
The commissioner told us he'd been sent death threats twice after speaking out against the violence. This street in East Belfast saw some of the worst disturbances. Today, this migrant family are back to try to return home. We're told after an earlier altercation on the street.
Did you see the Nick Fuentes and Hunter Biden interview? No, nothing Nick Fuentes touches my cornea.
With locals, police were called.
Oh my!
What is really striking is how much fear there is here. The migrant families, obviously after what has happened, they are terrified. But the people who live here, who want them out, seem equally afraid. Off camera, they have plenty to say, unsubstantiated claims that foreigners, they don't work, they get the best houses, they get phones, they even get cars from the state. But they say they can't talk to us because the paramilitaries who still control this area won't like it. On one thing, they are...
I still honestly will never forget the day when I was talking to my son about... Yeah, we were talking about skin and stuff. And he's like, I want white skin. He said that to me. And I'll never forget it. I felt so upset. I felt so disappointed in his school. I felt disappointed about myself, not making him feel better about himself. Like, I still remember that. It's completely seared into my brain. And this is the indoctrination. It just starts. It's psychological, it's subconscious. People have these biases. Teachers have these biases, and you can't help it. It's everywhere. So as parents, like, we have to be very, very aware about what is being consumed by our kids. It's scary, man.
Absolutely clear that if the migrant families
that's
are
our
moved
job.
back in, the mobs of masked men will come for them again. There's no doubt attitudes towards immigration are hardening here. Polling from More in Common showed while the vast majority condemned the rioting.
Why does Nick Fuentes keep telling his audience to vote for Democrats and then switching back to Republican bullshit the next week? I think he's done this like 3 times. I don't know his politics. All I know is that he is a neo-Nazi, a white supremacist who believes in the great replacement theory. I think everything else he says is bullshit. Because once you understand that core driver of his, I don't think anything else needs to make sense. The rest of it is just bullshit to attract people, attract an audience. The stalker that I had, Chips? I don't know if he still comes here, Chips. That stalker I have, that dude who's created like 20 accounts, who keeps following me everywhere. online. He attacked me on X, and I realized, and he was following Nick Fuentes, a Fuentes freak. That's it.
Immigration is one of the biggest issues across all communities, and for the unionists, their number one concern.
Is Fuentes an anti-Semite? Massive anti-Semite. Massive anti-Semite. He is a Nazi. He is the real anti-Semite, not Hassan. Hassan is talking about not conflating Zionism with Judaism. Okay? That is not anti-Semitism. Did I report him? We have an open report, so we can keep adding to it. Nick Fuentes is the Nazi anti-Semite. You know, the Nazi anti-Semite, like the gas chamber people. That's who Nick Fuentes is.
People see change happening, which is challenging, and it feeds into the whole issue of around housing.
In North Belfast, we meet local Democratic Unionist politician Brian Kingston. He's painfully aware of treading a difficult path, deciphering what are legitimate concerns within his own community.
Poor Hassan is public enemy number one right now. He's not. I think he just needs to stop reacting to all of the tweets. One thing about Hassan is he's very pure-hearted. I think he's just a really genuine person. I think he tries to be very consistent. He tries to help. I don't think he needs to prove anything to these motherfuckers. Like, why is he like clapping back at every fucking tweet that's against him? It's gotten dangerous. Yeah, I understand that, CC. Like, that guy who spoke about him, crazy, right? Sue that guy. That's fine. Have you seen how he is on X, though? He's, like, replying to everything that's about him. Any influencer that's talking about him, like a lib influencer or a right-wing influencer, he's replying to them. He just needs to, like, not be concerned. He needs to just be like, he's on there all the time. I worry for the guy. I worry for him because he's being attacked by all places, and I think he gives that a lot of energy. I don't think he needs to. I really don't think he needs to do that. He just needs to step back. He needs to do his own thing and just not worry about these people. But Hassan is that way, right? Hassan is, I think he gets deeply hurt when people attack him about his morals. I am like that too. And I feel the need to prove myself. And I think when you are trying to start a movement or grow a movement, you get that way. I just don't think Hassan has anything to prove to those people. He doesn't need to he doesn't need to react to them. Just let them say whatever they want. It doesn't matter. The less he says, the more power he gains, you know? I think Nick is just being hard to nail down right now. Always been an edgelord, probably just looking for some plausible deniability. If he takes every position at one point or another, it's harder to publicly label him. Yeah. He's a Nazi, man. Nazis are Nazis. Like, who gives a shit? He's not just an edgelord. He's a white supremacist. He's Nazi. Yeah, I've stopped watching him. Every time I do, he's obsessing with all the focus on him right now. I think that's okay. Like, do it in his own space. He's getting a lot of attention, right? Like, it's tough, man. I have no idea how that would feel. He's getting so much attention. It must be pretty terrifying, and it must be terrifying and exhilarating in some ways. Like, it's so much attention. I think he maybe maybe he just needs to speak to someone like Ta-Nehisi Coates or someone who has has kind of been through all of this, who's part of a minority group, who can guide him through this. I feel like he might be missing that a little bit. I don't know. I don't know who he keeps around him outside his lives. I know a few of his friends. I watch Fear and as well. But I don't think those people are his like normie friends, right? So I hope the people around him, I hope he has some people around him just calming him down a little bit. It's huge what's happening to him. Poor guy. They really are going after him. Will Neff and Austin are his best friends. I see. I think there is a level of defending one's honor when you are otherized for having a name like Hassan or being born into a religion that you didn't pick, practice or don't practice, etc. And it all boils over. I think if it makes sense, I don't know. I feel it sometimes. You know what people are really good at, like just avoiding criticism? People like Donald Trump. Like, think about how much criticism that guy gets. Think about how much. It's almost like water off a duck's back for Trump, isn't it? And Trump, the crazy thing about him is all of it is criminal too. Like, Hassan is just being labeled random bigoted shit. If Hassan took the foot off the gas, like, it wouldn't particularly hurt him. Just sue the people who defame him, right? Like, sue them, fuck them, sue all of them if they defame him. But he's not committing a crime. Hassan's not committing a crime. He has nothing to prove, in my honest opinion.
And what is out-and-out racism?
It is indisputable that immigration is a hot topic throughout the UK and Ireland and throughout Europe. So people have concerns when they see abuse of the asylum system, when they see uncontrolled immigration. People see the boats crossing the English Channel. Well, it gets more and more difficult to get social housing here, what would be council housing in England. The number of points people need to get private rental properties. There's a high level of demand from migrant families for those. So that can feed into people's feeling of a grievance, but that in no way justifies any violence.
Mr. Kingston says he has also been threatened after publicly condemning the violence.
Hassan's values on Ukraine. Hassan thinks that Ukraine has the right to defend itself. Like, Hassan isn't a pro Putin guy. Are you saying he is a pro Putin guy, or are you saying he's anti Putin? Like, what are you saying?
In Portrush, about 90 minutes out of Belfast, a small but vocal anti-immigration protest. Like the migrants themselves, the talk here is of feeling unsafe.
We've had enough. We don't want them. They don't.
The threat from outsiders summed up by outsider Sarah White from Essex.
I call Crimea part of Russian territory. I don't think he's ever said that. I don't think he's ever said that.
Veteran of protests elsewhere in the UK. The message, the danger of alien cultures, backed by this young mum marching.
If you are coming over here to fit in with our law and our culture, I'm 100% for that. But I think it's been proven a lot of them they've shown that they're not with us, they're against us, and that's my view.
You talk about being safe for children. We saw families with children burned out of their homes. Do you think that is the wrong way to go about this?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with criticizing NATO. Fuck NATO.
I think our country should fight back whatever way they see fit. We're not being listened to. and we have to fight back. I'm not supporting violence, but I'm saying everyone
We have to fight back. I'm not supporting violence, but we have to fight back.
has their own way of doing it. I don't go out and do that myself, but
you don't disapprove of people who do?
It's different situations. It's a hard one for me to answer that.
Why are people so unhappy about it?
Well, there's people been raped. There's people, this is all happening here. It hasn't happened before. These guys are capable of this.
I mean, Northern Ireland has always had, or very recently, one of the highest levels of domestic violence long before the migrants have arrived.
But not with paedophiles and rapists like what's happening now. I think.
What? This is the crazy thing about these fucking people. Like they're getting abused by their own fucking husbands, and they're pointing the finger at like brown people, brown and black people. It's so fucked up.
These ones coming here, getting a 4-star hotel, getting £50 or £60 a week spending money, getting their wee cards, their new phones, their designer clothes. What? I'm walking about in a pair of Guddies, £7 out of Primark.
Belfast, divided for decades along sectarian lines, is now fracturing in different ways. A sewing session at Annika in North Belfast, a community support group for migrant and asylum-seeking women. There's a lot of fear here too, but there's anger at violence that
They're getting it shoved down their throat by the right-wing media and their bigoted churches. Yeah, it's all it's a content pipeline, man. It's a content pipeline. Like, this is why I wanted to do what I'm doing. I'm just so sick of seeing, like, I've heard this shit from people closest to me. I've heard these talking points about, like, I've spoken to, my relatives, dude, like family, about Israel Palestine, and they'll tell me a fucking Israeli talking point, and I'm like, what the fuck are you saying? They'll tell me a right-wing talking point about transgenderism. Like, I didn't realize I was surrounded by fucking transphobes. Like, Amber and I talk about all of these things. Like, we're always talking about, how crazy it is, transphobia, how crazy it is, like all these bigots. And then I talk to other people in my family, and they're like, the same fucking talking points. And where did you get this from? Oh, this guy on the internet, or, this is just a view I have. These are the people they're following. Like, my brother once sent me a link to Jordan fucking Peterson, the CEO of Air New Zealand. Early days in Jordan Peterson's career. But he sent me a fucking thing, and I was like, what the fuck? Do you understand? I did get my brother, and my brother's like 6 years older than me. I did get my brother onto Christopher Hitchens. Like, it's probably the best thing I've done. But what the fuck? I'm just starting to deconstruct my life little bit by little bit. That's what this whole like chapter of my life has been. Just deconstruct everything all the way to the bone, to the marrow. Just deconstruct. Understand what's happened in my life since I was a kid till now. Try and understand everything. And reflect, deconstruct conversations I've had, things that have been shared with me, about other people. And you just have to go to that level. You got to like strip back every layer until there's nothing to hide. And then you understand the world in ways that you never understood it before. And then you realize you're surrounded. Like, all that complexity just becomes so simple. Like, I can understand the world I live in, and there is this huge weight lifted off my shoulder. Because I don't have to worry anymore, you know? The anxiety of like not knowing why someone behaved a certain way, or why someone said that what they did, why they shared this with me. Those anxieties go away. And what you start realizing is it sounds weird, but the truth. People are fucking bigoted animals. And you just, it's very liberating, yeah. But also terrifying, because you realize, you realize the kind of, the kind of people you kept around you. You realize the kind of people you kept around you. And then and the real terrifying bit is like, holy shit, I'm like 36 years old, and I actually hate every single person around me because none of them match 36. Yeah. And that realization came. I'm like, I actually despise these fucking people, because none of them are people who believe in what I like, who have the values that I have. None of them. They're all either cowards who won't use their voice, who've behaved in like a, manly way, but when it comes to the destruction of human beings, they can't lift a fucking finger. They're closeted bigots who won't say what they really mean in public, but under the cover of darkness, they'll fucking say all of that shit. And I've heard all of that shit. Trust me. Or they're just fucking weak and got to where they are, for whatever reason. But then when you just look under the hood, it's just fucking cowards, bro. And then you think, okay, so I felt inferior to this idiot. Why? I felt inferior as a human being. Like, I kicked myself. I made myself feel so small. I was nervous to meet this person because I put them on a pedestal. Why? Like, why did I do that? Because when you strip all of those layers back, they're just a scared fucking human being who are just terrified of being uncovered, discovered for who they really are. Being a bigot is easy to do. It doesn't take much thinking or effort. It makes them feel like they're right. I hate those people. Say it with your chest if you truly believe it. But I think most people just want to blame others for their shitty existence. They are scapegoat their entire life. Forget about that's different, right? You just don't know individual experiences. But to me, the thing that's shown me who people are is the genocide in Gaza. Like, I truly, when the genocide started, like, I used to have friends groups on like Facebook Messenger, WhatsApp. I would talk to people and I would show them this. It was silence. Absolute silence. No one gave a fuck. No one said anything. And to me, that completely shattered my worldview. I went into like a weird fucking place, man. And I was like, what am I doing? Am I, talking about this stuff, reposting these videos? Am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? I questioned myself for advocating for Palestine because no one was doing it. No one in my circle was even fucking spending a moment to talk about people being mass murdered. I just could not understand it. to me, it's PS and Ukraine. Look, I think Ukraine has the right to defend its borders. Ukraine is Ukraine. Ukraine has all the backing it needs. Ukraine doesn't lack resources. And Ukraine has the backing of white supremacy. So, I mean, yeah, I agree that Ukraine defends its borders, but it doesn't need my help, you know? Shadow hates Hassan. Yeah. It's not a big ECC. Like, I know people who hate Hassan, etc. I don't hate Hassan. I think he's a great guy. I actually think my view about Hassan is one of the first people I heard talking about Palestine without any fear was Hassan. There were a couple of people, right? There was a politician in Aotearoa, Debbie Narawahia Peka. I heard her speaking about resistance. I heard her speaking about Palestinian self-determination. I needed to hear it. Right after October the 7th, I needed to hear that from the indigenous community. I needed to hear it. Hassan, straight away, the guy didn't flinch. What a great human being for doing that. He didn't flinch. He just spoke up straight away. I have so much respect for him, and he did it in a very measured and authentic way. And it wasn't about anti-Jewish sentiment, which I was getting a lot then too. There were a lot of people talking up against Judaism at that time as well. So it was very confusing, right? But then there were some voices that stood out. Some voices you could tell. Some voices you could tell were authentic about the advocacy. It was about human rights, not about hating. It was about human rights. It was about protecting. It was about amplifying Palestinian voices. And I think, like, I appreciate Hassan so much for that, because his voice was so important in me understanding. And it gave me strength as well. So
New follower detected.
Crux of matter, thank you for the follow. And so don't be critical on them, just be observant. Does system first extrapolate sympathy, empathy, and compassion first? Be glad that these emotions are still intact in you. I am. I am very grateful. I am very grateful that I haven't veered from the path of, like, what matters, you know, from human rights. I am very proud of that. I love you. Yes, my love. I'm talking about Palestine. We're talking about Palestine. Can I ask you something? Free. Say it. Free. Free. I love you, bro. I love you so much, my love. Thank you for the cuddle and the kisses.
I'm away.
Hmm?
No, I'm not away. I'm away.
Give me a kiss. Give me a kiss. I love you. Go sleep. Go sleep, I'll come. It's okay. Don't worry about it. Go sleep. Bye. But Noisy, he said America deserved 9/11. He shocked his dog and he crushed the watermelon with his thighs that one time, all of which I have strong feelings about. Yeah. I disagree a lot of the times with Hassan, but what I like about him is he sticks to his principles and he doesn't have a hidden agenda. He has character that you can trust. This guy won't sell out for any self-gain, material wealth. Yeah. And I just think like there's a couple of things that I think he should not delve into. I have opinions about it. And I don't think he needs to go into this like hyper leftist arc, like the fucking tanky arc, to prove a point. I don't think he needs to do that. I don't think he needs to be a Maoist or pretend to be a Maoist or a fucking whatever. Like all of that stuff, the extremes of that comes with performative leftism, and I think the extremes that come with, I think, white leftism, the extremes that come with performative leftism, white leftism, Western leftism. I think he doesn't need to play into that, but I know he has a lot of pressure to do it. The other thing he doesn't, I would say, I would advise him not to do is to react to people on social media like he does. Like he should protect his mental health. He is very, very popular, and I think he should protect his mental health more. He's not getting younger, right? And I hope that his friends help him. His friends help him. He admits he's white. I've seen like the New York Post has reported with the photo of his parents. You know, I know, he's borderline. Iran and Palestine are connecting in the snow. Oh, they don't think he's white at all? Yeah. I don't think his detractors care. Even if he was, like, he gets attacked because he's Turkish. They don't consider him white. But I have a lot of time for Hassan. The guy is consistent. He's a powerful voice. No glaze. I'm just saying this because he was one of the first people that I heard talking about Palestine with zero fear. And I needed that at that time.
Organisers believe was predictable and preventable.
I think we can't ignore just how significant segregating our communities are. Whenever we have a school system that is completely segregated, we have a housing system that is completely segregated, this becomes the water that people swim in. And so they hold close to this identity. And if part of your community identity is telling you, we are now targeting black and brown people, there is a lack of critical thinking for people to stop and interrogate that and wonder why that may be.
Early evening back in June. Inside this house are 5 asylum seekers, hiding upstairs, fearing for their lives.
By the way, the same people who are telling you that you are an anti-Semite for speaking up for the Palestinians are supporting these white supremacist racists. Okay? Never ever forget that. Even people like Rupert Murdoch, all of their press, all of the press are behind these guys. They're hoping these guys do a good job, ultimately. They are the ones who are flaming, who are adding fuel to this fire. And in the same breath, they're calling for the annihilation of the Palestinians through their inaction.
We told each other that we were going to die on the same day. So, and we were desperate. The police were not helping us. and we almost gave up.
Finally, around midnight, police did come and evacuate them after they left.
Never forget that Keir Starmer evoked the bigoted phrase from a very bigoted speech, an island of strangers. Never forget that. Never ever forget that. Keir Starmer, Andy Burnham, they're all the same fucking. I bet you Keir Starmer and Andy Burnham, both of them, will be incredibly supportive of people like Winston Churchill. He'll glaze Winston Churchill and say what a hero he was. These people are all fucking white supremacists, bro. I have no time for these fuckers. They are evil, evil people.
The house, the rioters moved in. This is what the men returned to.
It feels like they treated us like we are not human beings. They missed everything, or they urinated on the floor, and it's very sad. Yeah.
Back at the march in Portrush, they're keen to make clear their arguments are based on religion, not race.
We are a Christian country, and a Christian country we will always be. We will not be a Muslim or an Islamic state.
I mean, I have spoken to Christian people here who were burned out of their houses.
What's the proof that they are actually Christian?
So this young man,
they're claiming to be Christian.
This young man had told us that he had been so grateful for the response from the people in his local church.
Yep.
I suppose the problem is when people go burning people out of their houses, they don't know who they are. They went looking for black and brown people. Is that right?
No, it's not right, because there's brown Christians, there's black Christians.
But he is a brown black Christian who's been burnt out of his house.
Yeah, but what is his proof that he actually is a Christian? Where did he come from? Look at his history.
They didn't look
people here from here. We are Christian. We were born here. We were reared here.
When the masked men came to his house, they didn't look for proof of anything.
Yeah, because they probably know. They think people aren't just going to go to somewhere and do it off the top of their head. They're going to go and they're going to do the things. They're not going to do it without facts.
You know, there's a grievance culture. There's a sense of nothing's right.
Fuck me.
Although scores of peace walls still divide the city, sectarian violence.
Remember, guys, if you give these people an inch, they will take a mile. Never, ever compromise to racists. Never, ever compromise. If you compromise on one thing, then you're compromising on everything. So if they come at you with transphobia, you have to be just as protective, and just as your advocacy needs to be just as strong for the trans community as it is for the Palestinian community or any other marginalized community. Because you give an inch to any part of this, they will take a mile. Never ever fall for the trap. Don't let them in. Don't give them a way in. And I've realized that, you know, they'll start with the trans community, and before you know it, they're talking about Islam, and then they're talking about you know, trans people being thrown off buildings in Gaza, and then they're talking about genocide of brown and black people. Like, it's don't compromise. Do not compromise. Don't give these bigots an inch. These folks wave British, US, and Israeli flags at their protests here.
Violence has declined since the Good Friday Agreement, but race-related crimes are at a record high. Those responsible are small in number, but driven and encouraged by outside agitators, the damage can be huge.
These people here are connected to global networks of racism. They're getting their social media, they're getting their arguments, they're getting their call to arms. And that adds to, especially amongst vulnerable young men, seeking status, which of course is also on the other side of the wall, where young men are seeking status by taking on the police. So you've got this history of you stand up, you take on the state, you take on the other.
I also think these people like this downplay the influence on young women too. It's not just young men who are being influenced; it's young women too. I mean, women don't have a immunity to getting to being indoctrinated here, right? Like, it's not like women have extra immunity or something than young men. Young men are going to fall into the trap, of course. The manosphere is there, but there are pipelines for women too, and I think both have. You have to be aware of both. So if you have a daughter, for example, it's a different path, I feel, than for a son. You know, it's just the pipelines are so well tuned. It's tough, man. On the roads, you might see boys and young men, but I'll tell you this: there's pipelines for both. They're being consumed by the internet. Yeah, there's pipeline for everybody. For everybody, there's pipelines where the destination is hate. It's everyone. Everyone has a pipeline. We just have to be aware of all of them. Don't forget, Northern Ireland is part of the British Empire. It's a colony. Oh, yeah. No, we don't call it Northern Ireland here. We just call it Ireland.
And why wouldn't that filter down to a different generation, even though, ironically, you stop the type of violence that at one time was common?
Northern Ireland's politicians eventually found a way to forge a fragile peace between two communities.
There's no pipeline for socialism. Erica Kirk is a great example. Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah, Erica Kirk. Shit, yeah. This is a pipeline for equitable outcomes for all. Gamester. We are a pipeline for equitable outcomes for all. Am I grooming you? It's a terrible thing to say. Actually, I take that back.
Communities despite years of bitter conflict. This is the third summer of rioting targeted at immigrants. Can they bring
By the way, this live is adults only.
this violence to an end before it too becomes entrenched?
Oh my gosh.
Jackie Long with that special report. And in a statement, the Police Service of Northern Ireland told us, "We reject claims that our response was anything other than appropriate. Our officers worked under incredibly challenging conditions to calm disorder, protect lives."
We're being influenced. Prob a better term. I believe it's radicalizing. No, I think we're de-radicalizing. I think the radical position is the pro-capitalist position. The neoliberal pro-capitalist, like pro-Western hegemony position is the radical position. Like, how do you get indoctrinated into believing that mass human suffering is okay? Like, that is radical. I'm just too black-pilled at this point. British de-radicalize, decolonize, re-indigenize. Yes. We're not calling it decolonize. We're calling it re-indigenize. I like it. British people are the biggest bigots. It's insane. I love flat out statements like that. Fuck, that's awesome. Oh, I meant that's how right and centrist would frame it. Ah, yes. Radicalization, positive way. Yeah, I know. Radicalization is supposed to be this positive thing, but the media uses it as a negative thing, a negative framing. That's why, like, if I'm ever asked by media, like, what radicalized you, I'll say, no, I de-radicalized. Okay. All good. This is another atrocity that is not being covered at all No need to be sorry. It's all good. We're just having a convo. Sudan war. The West is facing accusation of ignoring atrocities. I have another video on this that I want to show after this. So, yeah, let's give this some time.
The situation in El Obeid is grave after more than 2 years of siege, drone attacks, rape and food shortages. It comes less than a year since the horrific siege in the city of Al Fasher, further to the west. There, tens of thousands were killed in a genocidal massacre carried out by the RSF militia. The Sudan war has not received the same attention as conflicts in Ukraine, Gaza, Lebanon, but the suffering there has been on a scale that is hard to overstate. In more than 3 years of conflict, hundreds of thousands of people have been killed, possibly as many as 1 million. It's estimated that 15 million people have been forced to flee, and nearly 25 million people currently face acute hunger. One leading authority on Sudan says the war has upended the lives of millions.
You're talking about the largest displacement crisis in the world, with an amount of people equal to Metro New York and the 5 boroughs have run for their lives. And then you have the largest food security crisis in the world. So we're in the hundreds of thousands, right? If I was to say 1 million, I probably wouldn't be wrong, but it would be a make-em-up number. The fact is that it is so devastating that after this war is done, we will go back and attempt to do household surveys in places like Khartoum and Omdurman and Sinnar and Jazeera, and there won't be enough households left to survey. So that's the level of destruction we're talking about.
Despite those horrifying statistics, the West and other powers stand accused of ignoring the conflict, but worse than that, of meddling in the war and taking sides. Less than a year ago, Sky News reported evidence that the RSF, one of the groups fighting this war, was being supported by the United Arab Emirates, a key Gulf ally of Britain's. Claims the Gulf state was funneling weapons to the rebels, including armoured vehicles. British military technology and parts are also reportedly ending up on the battlefield in Sudan, having been supplied to the UAE. The UAE has always denied any military involvement in the war, but Nathaniel Raymond from Yale University says that is nonsense. Everyone knows it, and Britain's new Prime Minister should have the courage to say so.
Prime Minister Burnham should walk out in front of 10 Downing Street and say one sentence. The United Kingdom and its allies have concluded that the UAE is arming the Rapid Support Forces, who have been credibly accused of committing a genocide in Al Fasher.
The Sudanese government says the UAE is complicit.
My only question is, Infected Ghost, it's why is it radical to center human rights? Why is it radical to want everyone to have liberation? I don't understand it. I think that is the most just and de-radical position that you can have. Or unradical, I don't know, non-radical position you can have. I just don't see how radicalized, like,
complicit in the genocide underway in its country. The British government's been accused of failing to act on repeated warnings of genocide in Sudan. Overlooked and ignored for too long, Sudan's civil war has become one of this century's most destructive conflicts. After 3 years of fighting, this is the state of play. The SAF, or Sudanese Armed Forces, control much of the east of the country and have clawed back parts of the central areas. RSF paramilitaries control these huge areas in the west. The conflict has not attracted the same amount of international attention as other wars, while the UK's Disasters Emergency Committee, for instance, has raised hundreds of millions of pounds for victims of conflicts in Ukraine, Gaza and Lebanon. There has still been no
No. Giemsa, that's you've got it the wrong way. Israel and the UAE are vassal states of the West. It's not that the UK is aligned with Israel and Israel backs the UAE. It's not that at all. The UAE and Israel are proxies. Are proxies of the West. Israel doesn't Israel doesn't have as much power as you think Israel does. Hi, Noisy. Hello. Hey, Nidar. Welcome. Did you have time to look about the manifesto? No, I haven't looked, Nidar. Sorry. Noisy, have you watched any of the InfoWars since the Onion took over? No, I haven't. I watched the first episode, Dope Stick. I watched the first episode and that was it.
EC appeal for Sudan.
Maybe we can watch an episode here.
Concern is mounting for the millions trapped in El Obeid.
Share a link. Share a link, guys. Share a link. I'd love to just check it out. It'd be
As
fun.
the situation there worsens, prompting G7 nations to issue a new warning, urging the Sudanese armed forces, the rapid support forces, and allied armed groups to immediately cease hostilities and engage in direct negotiations in good faith.
I want you guys to take this away about why the West is absolutely backing the rapid support forces. Okay? Whether it's through the UAE or wherever. The way you can tell the West is backing the rapid support forces is because the West has not prescribed has not prescribed the rapid support forces as a terrorist organization. The rapid support forces murdered so many people in El Fasher that you could see pools of blood from space. Hands down, the RSF have murdered more innocent civilians than Hamas, than the Houthis, than Iran in its whenever. Like these sorts of pogroms these sorts of mass murders haven't been done since like Israel and Gaza as an example. But in such a short time, the only other place I can think of is like Rwanda. It's like Rwanda is the only other place I can think of. The fact that the West have not prescribed the RSF as a terrorist organization should tell you that the RSF is working for the West through their proxy, the UAE. So the RSF is working for Western interests. It's clear as fucking day. It's clear as day. Houthis and the blowfish. I like it, Cypher. You don't have to be sorry about that at all. UAE has used the genocide in Palestine as a cover to commit crimes on an even greater scale, so evil and sinister. Yeah, the UAE and Israel are doing the West's bidding. They are vassal states of the West, and the West is very much the architect of the genocide in Gaza and the genocide in Sudan. Because at the Noisy Immigrant, whether you say fortunately or unfortunately, as the structure of human morality goes, shaped through history or otherwise, like fractured human thoughts, everyone has their version of liberation, and radicalization tries to unite that towards a common cause, which is why it is mostly effective. How effective has it been? The true face of Western civilization. Yeah. This is a Sky News report that came out 22 hours ago. It says there. I thought it was earlier than that, but yeah, this is an incredible report. Yeah, let's watch it.
My husband was killed while I was 4 months pregnant. Killed in this war.
They're doing the best that they can under very difficult conditions. This entire maternity hospital is run by solar panels because there's no electricity.
They work in very critical conditions.
I came to El Obeid on Thursday
Friday, and then Saturday a stray bullet hits me on the leg.
The most dangerous place is the morgue.
Interestingly, one of the largest provider of weapons to the colonizers in Palestine, to the terrorist forces in the European forces in Palestine, the Jewish forces in Palestine in 1948, like the Haganah, etc., were the Soviets. The Soviets armed the Nakba. They were very much there. Believe it or not, here's some ones. The Soviets armed the Nakba, and they sent a lot of weapons.
Fuel tankers and trucks.
In saying that, America also recognized Israel 11 minutes after it claimed independence, right? After it claimed sovereignty. So 11 minutes. just so you understand how planned the whole thing was.
Trucks bombed into blackened steel, all facing the same destination.
Okay, hold up, guys. I'm just gonna use the bathroom quickly. I'll be back. 2 seconds.
These are signs of the suffocation survived by the city that sits at the end of this road. This is the last stretch of road before we get to Al Ubaid, and there is a complete shift in the comfort level. We're seeing very few cars on the road, very few people, because even though this is a key supply route for the army, the RSF are known to operate a surveillance drone that patrols this territory and launches missiles at military vehicles, fuel tankers, and even trucks carrying aid. Al Ubaid has overcome the longest ground siege of Sudan's war and evaded capture by the Paramilitary Rapid Support Forces, or RSF, fighting the military for territorial control. The RSF circle around the city has been halved by army advancements for now, but they still maintain positions to the west and the south and launch attacks from above. Their drones have come for this vital infrastructure. The power station.
I agree. H.
Transformers that supply Al Ubaid with electricity. But even in the darkness of power outages, babies are born, and doctors are committed to performing the operations that are needed. They're doing the best that they can under very difficult conditions. This entire maternity hospital is run by solar panels because there's no electricity. And should she need oxygen, it will go through a cylinder and not an oxygen machine.
Would we consider civil disobedience of people a form of radicalization? I think intent is really important. The outcome you're after is very important. To understand if it's radical or if it's radical or just justice or fighting for justice and liberation. I think the outcome is important. For me, if the outcome is equitable outcomes for all, then I think that's the least radical position that you can take. It's the most humane position you can take.
Upstairs, premature babies survive in incubators that also draw from solar panels, installed after electricity outages here cost newborns their lives. The roof that holds their power source is punctured by drone debris and shrapnel.
Fuck, man.
In Al Ubaid's biggest displacement camp, Amna has just given birth. She never made it to the maternity hospital, but went into labor in this small, unsanitary room, marked by a sheet of paper that says surgery.
Little Baba.
And what should be a joyous moment is full of despair.
My husband was killed while I was 4 months pregnant. Killed in this war. We have been suffering since the day we arrived. We don't have anything. I don't have a bed. I don't have a pan. I don't have a bucket. I don't have any food.
Pregnant women sit on the mat outside the makeshift operating room. They list their health complications and hope they qualify for birth at the maternity hospital. But Halima is resigned to her fate. She had her first child here and expects it's also where she will have her second, unsure of when she can return to her embattled home.
To me, this is where Western feminism, where white feminism fails completely. Because it doesn't include these people. It doesn't include these women. It doesn't include these children. And to me, that's why I think Western feminism is fraudulent in nature. It's racist.
This camp houses tens of thousands of civilians from the war's hardest hit states. Many of them women
Nash.
and children, in dire need of healthcare and food, and at the center of the worst humanitarian crisis in the world. Malnutrition is raging in the camp and in the city, with mothers holding babies in the main hospital that have been born far too small. The emergency ward on the hospital grounds has been plunged into darkness after the generator ran out of diesel. Hospital staff work furiously to maintain the care needed to keep people alive. A daughter fans her incapacitated father to relieve the moments of heat and helplessness in this unit for highly dependent patients.
Unfortunately, only 10 minutes the generator was off because of the fuel is depleted, and now they are preparing themselves to restart it. Okay, but as you know, now the emergency room is functioning as normal. See, this is the ER. This is where they receive the patient for the first time when they come to the hospital here. They work in very critical conditions, and they continue working, and they don't even complain. They are working with patients because they know that they are saving lives.
The fuel stations that feed the generators have been targeted by RSF drones. Residents queue up to fill their tanks at a surviving station, and the black market fuel smugglers that line the road. The main water station has been hit too, and boreholes are being drilled to restore running water. As the fight continues for control of this gateway city and the region, with civilians caught in the crossfire. The lights are back on in the emergency ward, and the casualties come in. A stray bullet hit Abdullah in his thigh as he was having his morning coffee. And the nurses are scrambling to assist him under the flickering lights of an unstable power supply.
This is what God wants for me. I came to El Obeid on Thursday, Friday, and then Saturday a stray bullet hits me on the leg. It was fate.
Al Ubaid.
when I see things like that, it just pierces my mind that when there is such an enormous difference in the struggle that these people face, and let's say a group of tech folks from Silicon Valley, how does a person like Musk even remotely think that in 10 years we are going to have abundance or even UBI? It's just so far-fetched propagandized thoughts from a very unfortunate reality. Yeah, it's capitalism. I'm sure it's the same propaganda that was laundered to poor British people who got on a boat and murdered my ancestors too. That there would be abundance for everybody. We just have to go colonize this place and steal their shit. Like it's capitalism, man. It's European colonization. It's white supremacy. It's Elon Musk doesn't consider these people as human beings. So he doesn't see abundance for them as very important. So sad if we as humans stop spending so many resources on hurting each other and focus on helping each other. There's no reason why anyone has to live like this. This is a 600-year-old project of white supremacy and Christian patriarchy that has implemented the world we live in right now. And the very structure of capitalism is derived from that 600-year-old project. And the basis of that project is white supremacy. The value, the notion that whiteness is more valuable than, or more desired, more human than brownness or blackness. And until we dismantle white supremacy and white privilege, we will not have an equitable world where money is rerouted from war to healthcare. That's the reality of it. We have to dismantle white supremacy and white privilege. We have to.
A teaching hospital is the biggest in Sudan and a shock absorber for the frontline Kordofan region. Dr. Muzammil's mission is to keep the hospital functioning and his staff safe. 2 of Al Ubaid's hospitals have been hit by RSF drones, and a majority of healthcare facilities in Sudan have been destroyed by the war's violence and scarcity.
You know, when there is bombing, the citizens from the market go to their homes, to their houses. But the staff, the medical staff from their houses come to the hospital because they want to save lives.
Part of his hospital runs on generators. Some wards run off solar power and other wards have no power at all. The hospital works to sustain new life, while the main morgue for the city and the state struggles to offer a dignified death.
If we want to wash a cadaver here, we have to bring water from outside because we don't have water inside.
Only 4 out of the 8 mortuary fridges work.
The most dangerous place is the morgue because we can receive 3 or 4 bodies at a time and have no power.
Bodies stream out of the morgue to the cemetery. New graves are being dug here every day. This one is for a 19-year-old with lung cancer who died after surgery in the main hospital. Each funeral cements the fatigue of this protracted war, with the struggle for survival tightening every breath from the moment of birth to the hardship of life and the suddenness of death.
Horrible, eh? Just fucking horrible. Okay. I would love to see a more equitable world for all. I would just love to see something very, very different to where our world is at the moment. But, it's fucking sad, man. That watching stuff like that just... Yeah. Anyway, I want to talk. I want to spotlight a couple of things. Actually, let's spotlight this next. Let me just chuck this on. This is an important piece. I want to spotlight this because global warming. We've been watching a lot of stuff about weather. This is a Bloomberg original about the Super El Nino. I want us to get very educated about these weather patterns and where things are going, because no worries, Noisy. Read it when you have time. I just wanted to point out early in the book, Ajari maps anti-blackness with 3 core concepts: alienation, dispossession, and genocide. The key move is that they're not separate. They intersect and reinforce each other. Alienation plus dispossession equals cultural appropriation. Dispossession plus genocide equals super exploitation. Alienation plus genocide equals self-destruction. Absolutely. What book was this again, Nidar? Can you please... What manifesto was this? Oh, thank you, Casey. Let's check this out. This is this seems interesting and educational.
The cyclical weather phenomenon known as El Nino has returned.
Wildfires in Europe.
More than 300,000 people have fled their homes in France and Spain.
Catastrophic flooding in India, or even New York City.
I'll check it
Weather extremes in our world are becoming more frequent.
So scientists are worried about this El Nino for 2 reasons. One is the scale of this El Nino. It's perhaps the biggest they have seen in recent history. And when it is coming, which is in a world that is already 1.4 degrees Celsius hotter as a result of human-caused climate change.
El Nino doesn't roll around that often, so it's difficult to totally anticipate what the effects will be. But this has the potential to be a historic event in terms of its power.
The economic toll this El Nino will take may not be known for years to come, but looking into the past gives us some ideas.
In our daily lives, the oceans play a crucial role. They can drive our climate and our weather. El Nino taught us all about that.
Afro-Decolonial Manifesto, Norman Ajari, Teresa Lavender Fagan. That's the one, right? I'll be reading that.
The El Nino that ended in 1998 had a major effect on global economies. The damage was about $5.7 trillion. It rippled for 5 years after the event ended. Losses from the 2015-2016 El Nino also ran into the trillions, and kind of forecasting suggests we'll see that again.
El Nino is a natural phenomenon. It's to do with an oscillation that happens in the Pacific Ocean.
There's this naturally occurring cycle in the Pacific Ocean where it warms up, it cools down. La Nina is the cool phase, El Nino is the hot phase.
How these phases are identified is by measuring sea surface temperatures in a region of the equatorial Pacific. And when sea surface temperatures go above 0.5 degrees Celsius above normal, that's when an El Nino is declared.
You can see here sea surface temperature readings taken from this area of the Pacific known as the 3.4 region. The red line shows 2026 temperatures are higher going into the fall than the last El Nino in 2023. And when compared to the average temperatures between 1991 and 2020, it's clear the oceans are warming up.
What's different with this El Nino is that we're not just looking at sea surface temperatures, we're also looking at water temperatures beneath the surface.
This El Nino is predicted to warm the Pacific more than 2 degrees Celsius by the end of the year. And that may not sound like a lot, but that's a lot of extra energy stored in the ocean.
This will act as a battery that will not only fuel heat transport, but also evaporative potential. And that is going to fuel how strong the impact of this El Nino could be.
So from what I hear, this El Nino is the full impact of it is going to be more towards the end of this year and early next year. So it's like we were watching something earlier today on this, and they said what's happening now isn't even the full impact of it.
This climate change, it's the greatest con job ever perpetrated on the world, in my opinion.
Climate change is essentially the response to the additional greenhouse gases that us humans are putting into the atmosphere by burning fossil fuels. And what that does is it increases the average temperature of the entire globe. A lot of that increase in heat is actually absorbed by the ocean.
El Nino is not caused by climate change, but it certainly is affected by it.
The world is already 1.4 degrees Celsius hotter than the pre-industrial period. On top of which, when an El Nino comes, you get an increase of 0.2 or 0.3 degrees Celsius of warming.
If we track global temperature variation.
Nash, tomorrow, do not forget, please, 12 noon, New Zealand time, I will be cooking chaat, my mother's recipe. We'll be making chaat a few different ways. I'll be making 2 types of chutneys from scratch and potato filling on the stream.
Since 1950 versus the pre-industrial era, this is what we see. The orange line is the long-term human-caused warming. El Nino years, shown in red, push global temperatures up, while the blue La Nina years pull it down. But the constant upward trend of global temperatures means the starting point for these variations is elevated.
And that means the extreme weather events that we are seeing around the world already, which could be a heat wave, it could be a wildfire, could be a flood, becomes just that much more extreme.
Many climate scientists are saying this El Nino could be a sneak peek into our future. And if you've been traveling to Europe recently, you'll understand exactly what this means.
A state of emergency in Western Europe was described as apocalyptic fires.
There are fears that a temperature surge could make the fires worse.
By 2027, which is now expected to be the hottest year ever, it might be giving us a flavor, just a flavor, of what life in current trajectory of climate change could look like in 2035.
Predicting the future can be risky business, but this El Nino is already well underway.
India is seeing its worst monsoon since the last El Nino.
Rainfall in the region has been erratic. India had its 5th driest June on record, only to be followed up by a massive flood in July, dumping a month's worth of precipitation in a single week.
India still depends hugely on agriculture for its economy, and monsoon is the main driver of that agricultural economy.
Extreme versions of El Nino's wet and dry zones radiating from the equator threaten crops around the globe.
Gifts up detected. Sharing is caring. You shared. You cared. Cece, thank you so much for the gift sub. Oh, glitched. Welcome. Amazing. Thank you so much, Cece. Thank you.
Western Africa, it's a hotspot for cocoa production. We're already seeing impacts on cocoa growth and yield. This is going to impact pricing going into 2027, and you could start to see some quality issues.
This means your chocolate bar or hot cocoa this winter could cost more. The El Nino event of 23 and 2024 caused multiple spikes in cocoa costs that have only recently come down. And in Somalia, communities are bracing for the currently dry conditions to give way to the type of torrential flooding that occurred in the last El Nino.
I just learned why El Nino does not happen in Atlantic Ocean, because it does, but due to its smaller size, the impact is marginal. All we have to do is break up the Pacific Ocean and rename it to smaller parts. Any UK peeps in chat? You guys liking your new chocolate? Nash, did you hear what I said, Nash? Did you hear what I said? I'm going to be cooking chaat tomorrow. Are you going to be here?
No.
2023, it was devastating. This bridge is connected from this village to the town, and the water rise above it. There is people who was not getting food, water, and essential. This Super El Nino might be one of the biggest, bigger than in 2023 and 1997.
Okay, waxaa laga yaabaa webiga in maarata uu soo baxo banaanka uu soo baxo outki only normal waxaa waaye halkaan uu maarata tegaya.
Do you think there'll be any left, Nash?
1 meter laakiin markii uu maarata normal oon ahayn waxaa waaye in uu outka u baxa laga yaabaa banaanka biyaha ilaa 3.5 4 meter inay outka u baxaan ay saameeyaan farms.
A lot of the impacts that come from an El Nino happen within the tropics. The places where you have the most productive agricultural land typically, and the most number of people who rely on agriculture for their income and of course for their own food.
The London Stock Exchange continues to shrink.
Uncover more at bloomberg.com/videos.
Food security and agricultural losses also ripple through supply chains, making local issues global.
El Nino can lead to lower rainfall in places like Panama.
We have a global interconnected supply chain, and so major weather disruptions can actually wreak a lot of havoc.
Traffic through the Panama Canal plunged in 2024 due to drought during the last El Nino. And this year, the Canal Authority is already taking measures to conserve water with cargo limits, citing the same issue.
El Nino is a global hydro story, which is often missed when everyone is focusing on global temperatures. Trade routes in the Panama Canal will impact flows of LNG, liquid natural gas, and in turn, our energy prices. That's where we could see the impacts on our wallets the most.
There's a recent study in the journal Science which found that the 1982-83 El Nino had long-term impacts of decreasing economic productivity of the world by $4.1 trillion. A similar analysis for 97-98 led to $5.7 trillion of economic damages to the planet. The more recent El Niños are expected to cost even more in the trillions of dollars.
Great.
So while El Nino is hitting localities in different ways, the costs are sure to be widespread.
El Nino doesn't care about what's going on between countries, and it doesn't care about our peace deals, and it doesn't care about the geopolitical situation or how bad inflation has already gotten. It does what it wants, it arrives on its own schedule, and it often arrives at a time that is not great given, other events playing out all around the planet.
A few months ago, a team of scientists from the Chinese Academy of Sciences published a study carrying an unfathomable figure. In 2025 alone, they revealed the world's oceans absorbed an additional 23 zettajoules of heat energy. A zettajoule is a unit of energy equal to 10 to the power of 21 joules, or 1 sextillion joules. This can also be expressed as joules, or 1 billion trillion joules. Wow. Yeah, it's hard to... It's the human mind will struggle to comprehend. Well, my human mind struggles to comprehend with numbers like that. I think I'd like to do Merca, because this piece should have really been in Spotlight. This is from CBS, but is a good report on why America is like the craziest place in the world.
Some Americans can now own short-barreled rifles, shotguns, and silencers without registering them with the federal government. Last week, a federal judge in Texas ruled the registration requirements under the National Firearms Act are unconstitutional. This act is the primary law that regulates the purchase and sale of certain specialized weapons and equipment. The judge gave the Justice Department until today to appeal, but for now it chose not to. A DOJ spokesperson told CBS News, quote, "The department respects Americans' Second Amendment rights and is currently assessing the impact of the ruling." CBS News legal contributor Jessica Levinson joins us now. She's also a professor at Loyola Law School. So why is the judge saying that this part of the National Firearms Act is unconstitutional?
So the judge is saying this actually not based on the Second Amendment. I know we all look at a statute that deals with gun control and we think Second Amendment. This is about whether or not Congress had the power to enact the statute and whether it continues to have that power. As we've talked about, when it comes to the federal government, you have to point to part of the Constitution that allows it to act. When it comes to Congress, there are certain enumerated, meaning listed powers. One of those is the taxing clause. And there used to be basically a $200 tax or fee that people who were making transactions or purchases related to these short barrel guns or silencers had to pay. Then in 2025, in the big, beautiful bill, Congress zeroed out that tax. So you're not paying $200 anymore. What the judge said today, or this week, excuse me, is that when it comes to Congress using its taxing clause power, you need to have some tax. You need to have something that raises revenue. And when you zero that out in the big, beautiful bill, there is no more tax. So Congress no longer has a power that it can use to pass or at least continue to enact this part of the statute.
Okay, by the way, Count Binface got 26.7% of the vote. Oh my gosh. Count Binface got almost 27% of the vote. Oh my gosh. Did you see how many candidates were on the ballot? Yeah, like 30 odd, right? Nah, it was 30. It was over 30 candidates. Not gonna lie, I'm so disappointed he didn't win. Oh my gosh. Like 27% is insane. Not gonna lie, I'm so this is a win. He's cosplay. Politics.
The Supreme Court has been skeptical of whether federal judges have the power to impose.
What did Farage get? Probably like 60 or 70%. There is, I don't know exactly, but there is a documentary. What's that guy's name, man? Owens. Fuck. Nigel Owen? No, Owens. Ollie. Oh my gosh, I forgot his name. Well, anyway, there's a little report that he did in Clacton. Clacton's very racist.
Nationwide injunctions. So who does this apply to?
So this only applies to the plaintiffs
Owen
in this
Jones.
case, but
Owen
these
Jones.
plaintiffs include groups and individuals beyond just the Northern District of Texas, where the judge made the decision. So, for instance, there's one group of plaintiffs, gun owners in America, GOA, and that includes a great number of individuals
Aren't
who are
all
covered
politicians
by this
cosplay
particular
also?
ruling.
True.
In addition, there are 15 states that are plaintiffs. Now, not everybody in each of those states is covered, but
America, how is this good? How is this good? How is allowing Americans to own short-barreled rifles, shotguns, silencers without registration? America, can we have a conversation, please? America, sit down. Okay, I need to talk to you. I need to talk to you for 1 second. This is bad. Okay. You need to take responsibility for your actions. What are you doing? Why are you like this? Can you stop? You're hurting people around you. Just stop.
state agencies are. So this is not a nationwide injunction, but in effect, it covers a good deal of plaintiffs who get the benefit of this decision.
Is this the end of the road if the Justice Department doesn't step in?
So this is fascinating because it actually might be. The Justice Department opted not to challenge the particular ruling, at least on an emergency basis. We're all looking to see if the Justice Department appeals this. As we have talked about, why does that mean that maybe there's nobody left to challenge this judge's decision? Because you need standing in federal court. And what you would need briefly is a plaintiff that has enough of an injury in order to say, I can bring this case. And if we're looking at, who are we looking at here? Individuals, members of Congress, maybe states. I see standing problems with each of those groups. So it may be if the DOJ doesn't appeal that this is the end of the road for this particular case with this particular judge.
Jessica Levinson, as always, thank you.
Okay, guys. Okay. Oh my gosh! Tomorrow's a big day. I think I will take an early night. It's 11 p.m., so it's not that early. Feeds the common American delusion that they can overthrow a tyrannical government. Fucking hold on till the Second Amendment is applied to nukes as well. That's what the forefathers visioned. Don't forget about tomorrow, please. Tomorrow, 12 noon New Zealand time. We are going to be chatting and chatting. Chatting and chatting. It's chat and chat. Chat and chat. We're ready to go. It's going to be freaking great, I think. But yeah, Jason's about to start. Nice. But I'm looking forward to tomorrow, everybody. I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. Will you wear an apron? Yeah, I will be. I will be wearing an apron. Our son wants to help. And nothing else. Oh, dear. Will you be wearing an apron and nothing else? Jeez. Imagine. How are you, Redo? Good to see you. We're rating out Jason D100. But please, guys, tomorrow I want to learn and teach I don't need your balls near my chart. Thanks, Chip. Jeez, nuts.
Thank you, friends.
Oh, it's going to be fun. I've never done anything like this before, so please be patient. Please be patient. It'll be fun, I think. I'm looking forward to it. I'll catch you all tomorrow. Balls are always near your chart. It's how many layers are between those balls and chart. It's the flavor, okay? It's just flavor. It's flavoring. Okay, everybody. Please enjoy Jason D100. I will catch you all soon. Kakite, everybody. Pomarie. And I will catch you all soon. Please stay safe. Enjoy the raid. YouTube, I will see you all tomorrow, okay? See you all tomorrow. Kakite, everybody. Love all of you. Thank you so much.